Solid.
Yo ho, yar! Welcome everybody.
Hello,
True crime and wine.
What is that voice?
If this is it's a good start. It was a good start. I like to start. Everybody, I liked it. I would honestly, I probably should have deferred to Tara so that she could introduce our bestie, our bestest friend in the world. Just the
That's
weight
true.
on her shoulder.
I brought a guest for tonight's show. If any of you guys saw us when I used to help co-host the Hey Ho show, we for our Halloween show, I dressed up in this attire, and the chat got to name my pet parrot here, who we settled with the name Pickle Tits. So Pickle Tits is our special guest of honor tonight. I promise you, this is the least craziest thing you're gonna hear about tonight.
Yep.
And
the three of us could have been on a boat rapping Lonely Island, and it still would be the least weird thing.
Right. So you're probably wondering, like, why I'm dressed as a pirate. We decided with tonight's show being boat themed in our Zizian escapades, we decided to dress up that way. And I don't have boat clothes, so I went as a pirate, which also fits with what we're talking about. So.
That was my favorite part about that conversation after we got done on Thursday. It was, we should totally wear boat stuff. That would be awesome. And Terry and I were like, I've got this. And Tara was like, wait, I don't have anything. And you're the one who brought it up.
I know.
I mean,
but I'm here. And we get pickle tits tonight, you guys.
And we get pickle tits. It's the only legal tits you can bring out.
Well,
I don't know. I've seen
and
some
not get us banned.
That's true. On the YouTubes. That's true. They don't.
And I need to just heads up, guys. We've got a storm rolling through. Jasper's baying behind me, and the dogs might go a little crazy as the thundering lightning rolls. So just don't be mad at poor Jasper.
Oh, who could?
I can't help it.
Who could ever be?
Doggone it, Chad. Get your storm out of here.
Oh, and then let's be prepared if my power goes out.
Well,
yeah, you better wrap it.
I didn't think about that till just now.
We'll have Pickle Tits read your notes for tonight.
Oh, Pickle Tits.
Pickle Tits sounds an awful lot like Harrison Ford. It's fantastic.
Like as a person or like the names?
I mean, listen, the last time we were flying and he said, "Get off my plane."
Oh.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. Come on.
Okay. Oh. Well, welcome back, everyone. So tonight we dive into episode 3 of our special investigation, Zizian's Unveiled. This multi-part deep dive exposes the chilling truth behind the Zizian Cult, a radical mix of trans, vegan, rationalist, anarchists who have left a trail of bodies stretching from coast to coast. This is, without a doubt, the most bizarre and complex true crime case I have ever encountered, and with new details emerging almost daily. Oh, gosh, some good stuff has come out lately. But the story keeps getting wilder, so we're here to continue that. We'll be here every Sunday at 9 p.m., unraveling the tangled web of the Zizians. So make sure you are subscribed. You hit that like button right now so people can also know to tune in and not miss out. And turn on notifications because you do not want to miss a single minute of this investigation. But before we go into talking about all that, what are we all drinking tonight? Terry?
Well, I decided to go with one of my new favorite wines, and it is Whitehaven Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand.
Ooh.
And I like it. It's fresh, it's aromatic, and it's got lemon verbena. I have no idea what that means in lemongrass flavors, but I like it because it's crisp, but it's not so light that I can just sit here and drink 2 or 3 bottles in a night. So it's got just a little bit. And it says that it has pear and yuzu notes. So if anybody knows what a yuzu note is, I need to know
It's a
because I don't know if I'm experiencing it or not.
Isn't that
Asian
like a
fruit.
Japanese liquor or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
yuzu is a
I
fruit.
think I've had it before. Now that I think about it.
Ah,
Yuzu, I believe, is a flavor. It is a citrus. It's a citrus fruit.
Oh,
okay.
maybe that's
Okay.
not enough then.
I'm just glad since it's one of my new favorites, there's no insane tariffs against New Zealand. So the price shouldn't get all jacked up on me like some of the other.
Now
So
that you've spoken that
drinking
into
it.
existence,
I know.
Oh my goodness. Well, as for me, I'm going with the Barefoot Moscato again. I didn't drink a whole bottle this time before the show, just half. I'm doing better. I have 2 bottles of those. It's not one of my favorites, but it's really all they had at the gas station. So, and it led to a great show last week. So why
It
not
did.
continue the fun? No reason to tempt fate. I'm so happy to be back tonight with you guys to talk about this crazy case. It's gonna be, I'm gonna warn y'all now, it's gonna be another long one. And if you thought last week was a wild ride, oh boy, buckle up. Actually, better idea, put on a life vest since we're gonna be in the boating world, because you're probably gonna need it.
That's true.
yeah, I kind of want to talk about a little bit about this case, and then why I'm interested, and then what I'm drinking. So I'm gonna make y'all wait. Although
Ooh,
you probably saw me
suspense.
lift a can. So why am I interested or still interested? It's not every day you stumble across a group that combines anarchist sailboat communes, DIY hormone labs, effective altruism, sleep deprivation, box truck conversions, and mind control techniques under the umbrella of saving the world with math and vibes.
Mm.
It's a story that continues to be really good case study in what happens when no one's there to say, hey, maybe that's a bad idea. Perhaps.
Oh, so many times.
So, what did I choose to drink? Well, let's be real. There's no wine on this planet strong enough to pair with a cult that tried to solve rent by playing SeaWorld with a sunken tugboat and a spreadsheet. So, I chose a non-alcoholic beer. Why? Well, because this case has me questioning everything. My sanity, the definition of rational, whether I too should be prepping a slackmobile with a cryo freezer. I needed something that felt like alcohol, but wouldn't have me waking up in a box truck outside a defunct Whole Foods. Also, let's be honest, if I drank real beer every time Ziz wrote out the phrase mana mind control or I had to become a sociopath to be good, I'd need a new liver by episode 5.
I'm a little upset that it wasn't until just now I thought we should have made a freaking bingo card for people to play with for tonight, because
we should have.
dang, maybe one of our future ones. Maybe if we read again, a blog post, we'll do some Zizian bingo.
Good.
Oh goodness.
Well,
anyway,
as we've done in the first 2 episodes, this series involves many non-binary and transgender people. We're not going to avoid these topics as they are important to the philosophy of the cult. All subjects are going to be introduced with their chosen name and legal name for the sake of legal research. We will do our best to use appropriate pronouns, but please know that if any mistakes are made, it speaks to the vast number of players in this case and the complicated nature of their beliefs, and it is in no way intended to disrespect their gender identity. We are very, very proud of the respectful, inclusive chat community that we have put together here. Our regulars know the drill, but to anybody popping in, please know that we don't tolerate hate speech. Statistically speaking, trans people are 4 times more likely than cisgendered people to be victims of crime. We're not here to fan that fire. We are here to discuss how this group of bright young people ended up involved in multiple deaths.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, if they want to give a hate speech about the fact my hair's up because I've never worn it up on a show, I'm here for that. But other than that, keep your hate speech to yourself, right? So, Now, we're going to give you a brief recap and what part of this story will we uncover in this episode. So, just like with previous episodes, we've made some very helpful graphics to go along with this story. Let me be clear, I had nothing to do with making graphics because we all know Terry is not the visual girl. Okay.
That would be our lovely Cap'n. Shout out to
Yes.
Cap'n, who worked
Yes.
extra hard this week for you guys. Extra hard.
Well, if you're listening to this on the podcast apps, I just can't suggest enough to you that you need to go and watch our True Crime and Wine Time YouTube channel to follow along, because just hearing it, your brain is going to spin and you're going to look like the exorcist when you go, and it shoots off. But if you look at the visuals, it will help you. Okay. Now, and if you're just catching this for the very first time and you're a little confused, you can find the episodes on our channel under our lives in a curated list about the Zizians, because as Tara said earlier, you do not want to miss one iota of these details.
No, you do not.
And before I want to Tarantino it for a second before we go any further, I do want to say I totally forgot to actually say what I was drinking. It is not alcoholic, but I am drinking O'Doul's. This is pour one out for my gram. My grandma always used to like to have an O'Doul's and wings every time I went north to Ohio. So this one's for you, Graham. Enjoy this episode.
That's great. So speaking of visuals, here's our little cheat sheet of all the people that will be brought up and talked about throughout this whole series, that we've been updating as we go along here. And yes, all 17 people. All right. Now, in tonight's episode, we're still discussing the early days of the Zizians, and nothing that terrible has happened yet in the timeline. But as I said in the very first episode of this epic tale, 8 of these people will be dead by the end of the story. 7 of them are currently in jail, some for murder, and 2 people whose whereabouts are unknown at this time. Now, don't feel overwhelmed, because tonight we're only going to be discussing 4 people. So bringing it down to bite-sized chunks here for you guys. So we're going to continue tonight reading the dumpster fire that is Ziz's blog. Sincerely. Last week, we discussed Ziz meeting Gwen Danielson for the first time. And tonight, we will be introducing 2 new people, Maya Pasek and Fluttershy, a.k.a. Jay Winifred. So we left off last week with our unlikely cult leader, Ziz, moving on to a sailboat with her new bestie and occasional dragon, Gwen.
I don't think that this is what culture meant by chasing the dragon. I mean, I guess she fancied herself a part-time Daenerys, or she wanted to be ridden by Daenerys. I'm not quite sure, but here we are.
The dragons. That was so great. Anyway. So Ziz had recently gotten some unemployment money, so she was no longer bothered by Google not getting back to her about that job that she was supposed to start there, because, when you get 10 grand, living the life. Instead, she turned her focus, right? Instead, Puff the Magic Dragon. I think if Puff the Magic Dragon was around, we wouldn't be here tonight. Okay?
I agree.
Nope.
I don't think we'd be here tonight if Puff joined us.
I'll even take Pete's dragon.
So instead of worrying about that job, she turned her focus to learn to sail. And Gwen taught her the basics, starting with dropping anchor in an emergency. Ziz immediately noted how cold the water in the bay was, writing, "The water was cold. We looked it up, and it was hypothermia to blacking out in 1 to 2 hours, and maybe having waves put water in your lungs while blacked out. It's called drowning, Ziz, but use all the words. 1 to 6 hours to hyperthermia unto death." And there's that's followed by a lot of boat info on the blog at this point that we're not going to get into. So if you're a real vessel head, you might want to go check it out yourself. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm from Ohio. where some people we have boats in Ohio, but like we don't really have boats in Ohio.
They're usually on people's
Vessel
front
head.
lawns buried by grass.
Yeah, like it's how it goes. So we won't be covering all the differences between a sloop and a schooner. Boat words are so funny, you guys.
They are funny.
They're
Schooner.
so funny. But
Yeah, it's
I did enjoy, hold on just a second. I did enjoy the part about how Ziz was so afraid of getting hit in the head by part of the boat that she started wearing a bike helmet while sailing. And I brought mine as well. I brought all the props. So they didn't know I was going to bring this bike helmet out, by the way.
I didn't. I would have brought my pink bike helmet.
Well,
Like her wearing the helmet's like wearing a full suit of armor to a pillow fight. Like she valued that noggin. Like honestly, it kind of reminds me of Stuart from Mad TV a bit. Like, look what I can do.
I know, but
very
look
much
at
on
that face.
that feel.
Look at that face.
by the way,
I
the
just
irony
appreciate
that
the
we're
fact-
using AI to tell this story with all their, gung ho about AI ethics is hilarious. She would hate
It
it
is.
so much.
Take it.
But look at it. It's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, well, but guys, it is around this time that Ziz met Jane, okay, at another Rationalist meetup. Jane was born Jacob Ray Peckerick. I don't know, in
think
Fort Worth,
that's right.
Peckerick in Fort Worth,
Peckerick?
Texas. That is not a Texas name. I'm going to just go out and say that, people. Like everyone we have met in this group, Jacob, or Jay, as they were known then, excelled in school, even making Eagle Scout. And guys, that's a big deal.
Very big
That's
deal.
a big deal. So they attended Trenton University in San Antonio, Texas, changing majors from philosophy to both math and chemistry before earning a bachelor's in 2050. Sorry, I couldn't help about the math. Anyway, friends described them as goofy, wise, calm, and playful all at once. And I'm going to just tell y'all that makes my brain hurt. Just if they're goofy, wise, calm, and playful all at once, that doesn't work for me, but that's okay. At some point, Jay began to identify as female, going by Jane, and using the online name of Fluttershy. And guys, yes, like the My Little Pony, which I have to say, which girl at some point in their life didn't want to be a My Little Pony or own one?
Oh, yeah.
So it's unclear whether this happened before or after moving to San Francisco and becoming involved in the Rationalist community.
I can't take one more cultural tie from these people. Like the IP gods are not pleased by any of this.
Now, I don't know how many of you have watched the new My Little Pony series that's been out for quite a few years. We watched a lot. My son loved it. We all actually love it. It's really good. The new My Little Pony, super good. Chat, this is something for you. You can let us know your favorite pony. Who do you identify with? I will let you know that my favorite My Little Pony, who I think represents me the best, is Rarity. Fluttershy is great too. Props for picking Fluttershy, but I am without a doubt a Rarity girl myself.
In the history of me, I'm just going to let everybody else tell me who I am, because
I'm a Care Bear. So I don't know what that says about me because I'm a Care Bear.
You are.
Can respect.
Yeah. Care Bears are solid too. Anyway, so she goes on in her blog to write, my less wrong meetup attendance dropped off. Talking to Jasper Gwyn was better. Probably because Gwyn can't go anywhere else on the boat and has to listen to you and your nonsenses, but sure. At the beginning of March, I went to one. I talked to someone I'd seen many times at meetups, but never really talked to before. Jacob Peckerick, a.k.a. Fluttershy, now a.k.a. Jane. Usually they would sit silently in the male androphile cuddle pile, but she was apparently a trans woman. And by the way, in case you guys were wondering, because I Googled it, because I didn't know what it meant, androphile refers to someone who is sexually attracted to men and or masculinity. So I'm not really sure why Ziz is all hung up about this. Like Fluttershy is confused or being deceitful or something. Like, I don't understand why she's being so judgy. It's Ziz. That's why she's a judgy Judy.
She's judgy.
Anyway, it's so
I'm
weird.
super glad. I'm super glad that you said something about this because I legitimately had to look it up because I've never I've never heard of it. Ziz can't just say gay like a normal person. She had to bust out androphile like she was ordering sexuality off a 19th century apothecary menu.
Well, actually, I don't think it's just about being like, I think I'm an androphile, right? Is that how that works? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I suppose so. It was kind of, it just felt like that's how she used it. So.
Yeah, it was fair. No, I very much agree with you on that. Jesus. Anyway, quote, I guess I should have seen that coming given the identification with Fluttershy. She talked in tones like she was cooing to a baby. I ignored it, thinking something like, quote, trans people are going to ineffectively, embarrassingly cope with nature having fucked up our voices. I don't want to give her shit about it. Retrospectively, I guess she was mimicking the character. I think I realized that before and then forgot. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's my turn to hop into this, huh? Oh. She said she was a vegetarian. Okay. If she had the trait and was this readily interested in my ideas, maybe she could be useful. She said she was otherkin, specifically a pony.
Right. So I think it's interesting that Ziz, as we've learned from all of her interactions thus far, has a weird checklist on who she deems worthy to even interact with. Like, you have to be vegan and you have to think my blog is awesome, and then we can talk. But, and to use the term useful, like, people are just a means to an end for her. It's just, Sis. I mean, by the way, we're going to be full of snark again tonight, just to let you guys know.
Right. So, like, the only thing I could think of was, like, that's your linchpin for being interested in somebody? Like, you eat carrots and you, like, I don't, like, I wish my life was like that. So, continuing on, I remarked about a list of similarities with Jasper Gwen. List of similarities between me and Jasper Gwen. It was a running troll hypothesis between us. Other strangers assumed we were siblings. We even looked similar, and so did Jane. Jane seemed extremely happy about this. I think she asked to me to introduce her. I think I said something not fully committal. Hashtag cool story, bro.
I mean, one, I like how she makes up words. Trollhypothesis.
Right. A trollhypothesis.
Yes. But, you know, she's not wrong. Like, her, Gwen, and Fluttershy all do look a lot alike.
They do.
A lot.
They do.
It's very Aryan.
Like, anyway. So,
just being honest, it's Varian is what it is.
I'm going to remove my bike helmet, so I hope nothing from the boat hits me in the head.
Don't hurt yourself.
I should have had a little tiny bike helmet for pickle pits. Damn.
You are in a computer chair, so don't fall out. It's dangerous.
Yeah, please do not fall out of a chair. We know what that looks like, and it scares people.
That is true. Seen it? Don't like it. Anyway, so she continues on. Oh, this is one of my favorite parts, you guys. Okay. Quote, she asked me to lie on the ground and stare into her eyes, saying this would release oxytocin. Part of me was weirdly hesitant to say no to any request from her. Part of me was like, this is creepy attempted mind control. But that sounded like mostly placebo BS. Right. My cached Flint's response to failed mind control, formed of imagining optimal responses to fictional scenarios, was, quote, pretend it's working, see what opportunities their reliance on the expectation you are their slave opens up. And this thought sort of placated that part of me that was scared of her. And I agreed, but I positioned myself so that there were legs of a table between us.
You know, it sounds like the first draft of 50 Shades.
All I
It's
can
just
think
the
of
first
is
draft of 50 Shades.
oxytocin. Isn't that what they give you when you're pregnant to make you go into labor?
No.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin
Oh,
is what your
I-
brain, the chemical your brain
I-
produces, like when you're in
I
love.
know,
or
but that was
doing
the
things.
thing that popped in my brain.
I see where
The
you're
one
going
that
with
no
that.
content
Sorry about
creator
that.
has. We don't know about
Yes.
oxytocin. It does not exist.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we should stare into each other's eyes.
Oh, let's do that and see what happens.
No, I do. You know what? I do have a table here with legs
Mind
in between
control.
us, so we're.
I mean, next thing you know, we're going to be saying Candyman 3 times.
Ooh, no way, girl. No way. Not falling for that.
I'm already
Now-
wearing an ascot and a sweater. I'm not saying Candyman.
Are you wearing an ascot? I can't see because your microphone's in the way. Are you really?
It's not a real one. I turned a tie into an ascot. I don't have.
I
wish
love
I
it.
had a real one.
I love it still. That's amazing.
I was like, say, you still look very dapper. Very
Yeah.
dapper.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Can't wait to get
Now,
on the ship.
she pressed for that introduction to Gwen. I think she said, I'd give. I remember having evaluated this as suspicious of being an adjustment to the record to use my sense of honor to take away my choice. But I sort of flinched away from having to confront her. And I said, I'd mention her to Jasper Gwyn.
Says girl. It's not that serious. Like,
I'm like,
what are you even saying? She's
Now-
supposed to hang out.
Jasper Gwyn changed her name to Just Gwyn with she, her pronouns. And around then, I had a reaction like, knew it. And Terry had the reaction, thank God you stopped slandering the name Jasper because my Jasper is fabulous and not unique.
Jasper's a goat, for those that don't know. But yes, Jasper is amazing. Also, I wonder if on the boat, Ziz made Gwen call her Captain Fucking Obvious.
I hope so. I hope so.
Like,
I hope so.
That is the kind of power move you make when you've read one leadership blog and decided mutiny is just negative feedback.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now-
goodness.
I introduced Gwen and Jane. One time when I got back to the boat, I found Gwen had invited Jane over. Gwen was wearing stylish new clothes. So was Jane. They were looking at each other in a very distinctive way. Long gazes, more that I forgot.
I bet Fluttershy was using her mind control powers.
I know.
So she introduced them, and the next time she saw them, they were dressed like the opening number of a musical. Like, for a second, I bet Ziz could hear Fluttershy whisper, "It is time."
I mean, at least they got dressed up in stylish new clothes.
Right? Jane sounds fun. Sounds like her and
Oh my-
Gwen are having a fun time. And Ziz is like, I don't notice anything. Durr.
Sounds like she'd dress up like a pirate.
Hey. Dare you.
How dare you?
In
Off
front of
with his
Pickle Pig.
head.
God,
All right.
JD.
We have table
Off
legs in
with his
between us. I
head.
feel safe.
Off with his head.
Yes. Oh,
Guys, my
goodness.
whole house just shook. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, Yeah, it's getting crazy out there. Jane asked if I notice what's changed about both of them. About Gwen? I forget.
Mm.
I asked if they were in a relationship. Jane said something like, "No, you silly. Gwen transitioned," and pointed out her clothes. One of them talked about how they had been doing water bending stuff, about emotional support, and this had given them the ability to do that.
Mm. I know that's what I use my water bending powers for sure.
I can't tell what I used mine for.
There. I'm very busy. How do you think babies are born? I just bend the water and. All right. So there followed a quote, getting to know each other and our designs for the rationality community conversation. Jane said social status was really important. Seemed to think it controlled mostly everything. That there was a natural way for it to be distributed to incentivize good behavior. And this is what happened if it was regulated subconsciously. She mentioned a book, practice at contact improv, and playing high and playing low. She said people in the rationalist community were starting to adjust their status-laden behavior consciously. She later gave the cherub posture as an example, that this was dangerous and needed to be fought before it completely destroyed the fabric of the community more than it already had.
Oh my goodness. That sounds very serious. JT, so because I can't visualize things in my head, I'm going to need you to demonstrate your best cherub posture pose for me.
Yes.
If I do that, it's going to be like watching wet laundry try to do ballet, or Ham trying to do yoga, or it's like soft core for scoliosis. You don't want it.
I'm here for it.
Scoliosis. You're right.
Here
You know
for it.
what? It would be too dangerous to do.
Look at
Beautiful.
that.
Look how dangerous that is. It's going to destroy everything we know, JT.
I've never wanted to go back to Ziz's blog more. This could be done by training people to see when someone was overstepping the natural order as she could, and using conscious tricks to increase their status and punish them. I said, I thought this was a terrible policy to make things allowed only if they were unconscious. This incentivized destroying your own introspection to make your attacks allowed. At some point, I habitually made a Darth Sidious impression, croaking to Gwen, "My young apprentice." Jane said, "I was."
Oh, wait, hold on. We got to clap.
They will be no match for you.
Yes.
They will be no match for you.
There's going to be a lot of Star Wars references. Guys.
Jane said I was consciously grabbing more status than I deserved and needed to be punished.
This is literally the fan fiction no one asked for. Like, I didn't ask for the original story. I sure as hell didn't ask for the fan fiction of the story. She shouted something. I forget. Was it "fuck you" at me with a whole lot of bile in her voice? Somehow it actually hurt, especially as right after she returned to apparently civil tones and said there I'd be punished.
Punished, you must.
Or she has a feeling. It hurt her one feeling. Gwen's one feeling.
It hurt.
Was hurt.
She's used her one feeling and she's all out of feelings
She's
to give.
It up. She's done. Yep. So Ziz and Jane's conversation turned to their shared distaste for certain rationalist leaders. According to Ziz, Jane referred to them as firebending doms and accused them of gatekeeping AI alignment.
I mean, that's true of all the firebending doms I've met in my life. So we have
it's a lot of heat, very little light, and an absolutely unearned confidence in both epistemology and rope work.
Look at these guys in the picture, those are fire-bending doms, you guys.
They are, I mean,
you know what? You have to be able to make a fire first before you can bend it.
that's what I was thinking.
There's no fire. Literally, there's no fire in loins. No fire is being created.
All right.
Unless they're creating the fires from their back end of their bomb and releasing poisonous fire gases.
Ooh, that second burrito.
That second
That'll do it.
burrito. Yes.
No, that's monkeys. Monkeys would do that. That's monkeys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. The dogs are barking. The thunder's rolling.
Captain said the raw masculinity. It is it's just dripping from your screens right now. I know it.
It is.
And your phone's broke because they can't handle it. So hopefully you have it on TV somewhere.
I'm hoping everybody's guarding their loins. I mean, you need to guard those loins right now because, whew, let me tell you, I'm getting a little hot and bothered over here.
It's hot because it's the desert. It's the desert.
Let's learn more about these fire-bending doms, shall we?
For example, she thought if MIRI researcher Scott Garbrandt wasn't such a dom, there would be 3 times as many people with ideas just as good as his. They joined together in the ancient tradition of mocking other people's Facebook post.
Ancient?
Oh my God. Eventually escalating to Jane using a laser. What are they doing? Okay. Escalating to Jane's accusing Eliezer Yudkowsky, the founder of MIRI, of dominating others' ideas. He needed to be slapped down, girl. That girl was my part. Throughout this passage, Ziz regularly implies that Jane was being petty and that she didn't agree with her on many points.
Shocking.
That did not stop her from participating in the conversation and eventually writing about them for all to see.
Yeah, typical Ziz.
I think sounds like Ziz to me.
Yeah. So in her blog, she does go on to say, quote, I updated that my ideological conflict with Jane would make us enemies in the future, that the preferences revealed in those distortions made them basically irredeemable. What? Was it really out of ideological conflict, or was it because she told you to fuck off and hurt your one feelings?
It's because she told her to fuck off.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that's
Let's call a spade a spade.
Nothing says intellectual rigor like getting your feeling hurt and calling it philosophical schism.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, she goes on to say, I talked to Gwen afterward. Gwen seemed to mostly agree with my assessment, but believed Jane could be fixed. She agreed with me the thing about way more Scott Garbrandt level mathematics was BS, and incentives towards unconsciousness were bad. She said she was helping Jane with her depression.
Felix, fix it.
I mean, okay. I like how Gwen is just like, I mean, I agree with kind of what you're saying, but like, she doesn't seem like that bad. Ziz is ready to declare her a moral enemy. Right. And if this is your first time tuning in, Ziz has a lot of moral enemies and arch nemesis. Okay. She's adding people to that list every day.
Oh, yeah. You look at her the wrong way and you're on that list.
Yes.
Yeah. In case you were wondering what Fluttershy must have thought when she read this, literally nobody. Well, Jay left a comment on this specific blog post of Ziz. And it said such. I agree with the accounts you've given of me here and in your other recent posts. This is Fluttershy Jane, now Jay. You were also right about the Jay, you're censoring a core with meditation, and you wrote off AI as a cause area to be safe from pwnage by LW and need to evaluate it on its own merits things. As for chronicling fleet history, there was also a time where I tried to guilt you into buying my boat on the likely false, but I didn't even check assumption you damaged it. And you actually offered to, as a way of having a social pretense to get rid of me.
Hmm.
And then I got some sort of honor false face and was like, nah, you don't have to. And then I sent an aggressive email to Gwen telling them I wanted to pay them as little as I could, be socially seen to owe them for unpaid rent for living in their boat, since there was a gray area on how much I owed. And to all of this, I say that these people are unbearable.
It's so unbearable.
They-
What's crazy?
It's
It's-
literally
Oh,
I mean, Jay's
like-
verifying that what she's saying is totally fine to say. Like, that's crazy to me. That you're like, yeah, that
Yes.
sounds right.
Like,
sounds good
if
to
you
me.
wanted to verbalize my norovirus, that's it.
I did like how she kind of called Ziz out. Like, I know you were just going to
Yeah.
do it to like try to get rid of me. Like, I thought that was kind of funny because it's true. Totally very Ziz. All right.
She's out of feeling to hurt.
It's true. Oh, goodness. All right. So she continues on in her wonderful blog post. Quote, we saw a big sale, cabins for 6, not headspace for me. Inspected many things. It was moldy as hell. Going for $10K, previously $300K of work put into it. Those numbers are weird. Gwen said Gwen said there were 2 ways of using boats. You could be a rich idiot, or you could take advantage of rich idiots, not necessarily in a predatory way. Gwen was scouting for a potential housing project, house 6 San Francisco programmers in a boat in Richardson Bay. That would be badass. Holy shit. Honestly, with the way that the story plays out, Gwen should have just stuck with the breeding super intelligent dog plan she had in the last episode. It probably would have been cheaper than what's going to happen with them now.
My favorite thing about this is that she goes, there are two ways of using boats. I'm going to give you 2 things, and they have nothing to do with boats. It's like... Unless, I mean, boat is code for rich guy, which in that case, fine, whatever. But at least, like, mean what you say.
It's really like, even if you take the word rich out of it, it's idiot. All right. You could be an idiot. You could take advantage of idiots. And guess what? You're going to end up an idiot because this doesn't work out for anybody.
No.
Yes.
No.
It does
As
not.
a child, I learned from Horton has a who, or here's a who. You know, say what you mean what you say.
And what you say?
So she goes on to say, the name on the transom was The Rapture, which is very fitting for a group who thinks the world is coming to an end.
That one.
In faded paint, I joked if we bought it, we could refresh the paint, then cross it out and write The Singularity. Hilarious. Hilarious, sis. You are so
funny.
fucking funny. Hilarious. Quote, I guess Black Swan would be a cool name for a sailboat too, especially if you could dye the sails black. What a fucking little edgelord she is. Oh my God. Oh jeez. You know what is hilarious? For the whole 15 people that are watching that even know about this is this slide. If you know, you know.
You know,
Yeah.
naming a sailboat, it's like naming your Roomba Dostoevsky. It's dramatic, self-important, guaranteed to capsize emotionally. This, your train of thought is showing. Cover that shit up until it arrives at the station.
I mean, you could name your Roomba Rosie like I did after the Jetsons housekeeper.
Oh, that's clever. I like that.
Mine's
I'm gonna go with they
You
didn't
know,
have a
when
Roomba.
When the robots
I have
rise
enough.
up and your Roomba comes to see you in bed and goes, yeah, real original, Terry. Real original. Time to clean you up.
Hey, if she just cleans in the right area, I'm okay with it.
Oh,
go.
I got something for our chat, or if you're in the replay crew, you can leave a comment in the comments section. But like, if you had a boat, what would you name your boat? I want to see these clever answers. So put those in the chat bar.
Whole lot
I
of
have
semen.
the name of my boat. Does not everybody have a name of what they're going to name their boat?
I mean, it
Or is
depends
it
what
just a
kind of boat.
Texas thing?
I think it might be a Texas.
It's
thing. I
so
haven't really
far
thought
out of the realm of believability of me having a boat. I've never even considered the question.
Well, we
Okay,
want
then I won't
answers.
share my boat name. I won't
No,
share my boat
yes, I
name
want to
then.
know your
No, I
boat
want to know your
name.
boat name, damn it.
Miss Mess.
Miss Mess. I like that. I like
After
that
our
a lot.
dog Josie, because we called her Miss Mess. And we always
Oh,
said if we had a
in pink.
boat, we would name it Miss Mess.
Oh,
Because he
I
wouldn't
hope
let me
the boat
name
is
it
pink.
anything pink. So, you know.
well.
Yeah, but that's because
Now-
the whole boat's in pink, so you can't call it. It's too on the nose.
I wanted to call it a pink taco. But after the restaurant in Vegas, get your minds out of the gutter, people.
Right.
It's the name of a restaurant.
Sure.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sticking with that. Now, Ziz ended up buying a smaller sailboat that she found for $600 and naming it the Black Signet, which is a baby black swan, in case you didn't know.
Spoiler alert, she does not dye the sails black. She's such a fucking disappointment. Talks
I mean,
about it and he doesn't do it. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, she could have at least gotten a can of spray paint and spray painted them black. I mean,
Right?
$2. So,
Pretty cool.
Just put a black swan on it. I mean, chances are she'd want to be off the ship quicker than anything if there was, but whatever.
yeah. Now, the Black Signet, it was too small to stand up in, but it had 2 beds and got her out of living with Gwen and Jane, who had seemingly moved on to the Islander as well. Now, Gwen helped her make the purchase and move the boats since she was much more experienced in the subject. Aziz seemed surprised that she was expected to move the boat from the seller's property.
Oh, shock Pikachu says.
And I mean, if you buy a car, you have to take it from the car lot, right?
You would think.
Yeah.
The initial.
Well, remember, Gwen had 2 things to teach you about boats.
Yep, that's true. Now, shock to everyone, the initial move of the boat didn't go smoothly.
Oh no.
They thought they ran out of gas and anchored by the Bay Bridge, waiting for enough wind to continue on to the Alameda.
This is epic. It's not Odyssey epic. It's more Gilligan's Island, but like Burning Man adjacent. So
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she's got my
All right.
goodness.
I started planning to outfit it to live on, even anchored in Richardson Bay, where it wouldn't cost anything. No more rent. Finally be able to cool down and think without money burning up.
Oh man. How much time does one really need to think? I feel like too much thinking is what got us here tonight. I don't think you should have spent more time thinking.
It took the guy on the stage years back at a couple presidential elections to say the rent's too damn high. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you needed to know. End of story. All right. So Gwen recruited me and Jane to a project. Basically, try and get the Rationality community to be on boats. What overrode my reluctance to work with Jane? I noticed things were moving faster. This seemed more like the plot line than they had in my life previously. Maybe following Gwen's crazy idea would be the answer to the problem where whatever I expect to try, I just expected it will be too slow for me to save the world.
Yeah.
Too slow to save the world, you guys.
Too slow.
It is.
Too slow. I would rather get into whatever trouble this entailed than turn away from this glimmer of things not making sense according to the old inescapable feeling analysis, always doomed, and never know what this morning fast blowing all the walls out of the problem thing I didn't understand meant or could have been.
Bravo for that hyphenation sentence that I don't even understand what the fuck she's even
I read
saying.
through
Good
that and I
job.
immediately want to like read the side effects of a drug.
Yeah, because
What?
I'm like sitting here going, I can't. I just don't.
I mean,
I'm drinking.
does anyone understand what the hell she just went on about? Because I don't. And I guess that's
Nope.
what we all get for not having enough thinking time.
That is true.
Listen, I don't have enough oxytocin. I don't have pitocin, oxytocin. I got nothing.
Oh my goodness. Oh, anyway, so she goes on to say, quote, we called it Rationalist Fleet. Someone suggested Rat Fleet, abbreviating Rationalist Rat. It was a meme that the humble people in the community liked. I didn't like the political force of, quote, not rationalist, aspiring rationalists, end quote. Like it seemed anti-correlated with actually correlated with trying to fit in with muggles. Are they fucking wizards now too? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Ziz gives me major squib vibes. Major
Agreed.
squib over here.
Calling Ziz a squib is funny and truly perfect, but I think that's giving her too much credit. She's really more like a wand-shaped stick someone picked up at a LARP and insisted it was humming with latent power.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So she goes on to say, we rejected the name Bay Area Rationalist Fleet because of the acronym.
I mean, I have to just say, I think that BARF would be an excellent acronym for them because they make me want to barf frequently.
I think that they should be called terminally woke and tiresome. Also called
twat.
Ziz is such a twat. God.
I do think Ziz is a twat. I love that.
I do. Anyway, that was fantastic. So she goes on to say, we talked over the economics. Marinas had a legal limit of a certain percentage of boats that could be liveaboards in the bay. This was per boat. Large ships were very cheap. Then perhaps we could get the rationality community, or most of it, or the good parts, to sail away from the Bay Area for good. So, like an intentional community, which those almost never turn into cults. That almost never happens.
Just ask Dan Harmon.
My
if you get it,
favorite community creator.
I just hear the song in my hair, in my ear. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
I mean, with the way they're talking, you probably do hear things in your hair with everything we're hearing tonight.
Maybe that's what it is.
Away. Headed over tours.
Oh my gosh. So she goes on to say, quote, so much talk in the community of how we should leave, but we can't because everyone else won't. And this is the only shelling point. So much talk I'd heard earlier of the Bay eating people, and I'd been happy to come because it meant being around lots of rationalists. But now that rent situation had caused so much damage.
Her parents were paying her.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I mean, they began to search for usable boats that could house their fleet, sometimes butting heads over what was worth buying. And guys, do you know what just popped into my little minuscule brain? Fleet is also an enema. And so they were sometimes butting heads Fleet is the name of an enema. Sorry.
What?
I've had too much wine. It's the name brand for enemas you do at home.
Oh, a
It's
name
called
brand.
Fleet.
Okay.
A name
Oh.
brand.
Well,
So they should name their boat Fleet.
I think it fits.
It
I
is
think it
bad
fits.
enough trying to find a house with a bunch of people. A bunch of rationalists fighting over what boat to buy is like virgins arguing over stroller brands.
Man, what I wouldn't have given to be in those conversations.
I know. A fly on
The
the wall would
virgins
be
or the
great.
rationalists? Which one?
Oh my goodness.
Now, me and Jane were starting to dislike each other more and more.
As mortal enemies do. I
I
mean,
mean, I tried authentic, relating, comprehensive stuff. Did not help.
Oh.
I tried talking to an ARC person. No matter how I tried to talk to them, they sort of filibustered with assertions that I was a dom, that I was dominating them, dominating Gwen. Did not help.
What? I wonder what kind of dom though, like firebending, water building, wind, dirt. What
There's
kind
only
of
four.
dom?
There's only 4 options. So
I
you got a
mean,
25% chance.
maybe. But it probably didn't help because she didn't like what she heard. Like,
That's
you
right.
suck and you're a dick to people. So,
Yeah. Now, Eric Brulant is not the same person as Gwen's ex, but was a potential investor Gwen had located, also involved in several other housing projects. Said, our project seemed like it could work. Gwen had the munchkin. Jan had the noticing when people were hurting and helping them. And I forget what he said I had.
how convenient. I'm going to go with it's something that made Ziz not feel special enough. So, it's hilarious. Now, I want to sidebar just real quick before we go back into the blog here. So, I want to talk real quick about Eric Brulant. So I didn't even know this until last night when Cap'n sent this to me. That's how crazy all of this story is, because we're still finding stuff every day. Okay. But anyway, so we're not sure if it's investor Eric or ex Eric.
Mhm.
And honestly, how many Eric Brulants?
Eric.
Right? How many Eric Brulants could there really be in this area at the time of 2017?
True.
But so we found a 2019 article from the San Francisco Gate where an Eric Brulant got sentenced to 5 years in prison for a 2017 attempted murder on a mental health division employee in a Whole Foods parking lot.
Definitely him. 100% him. I was not sold until Whole Foods.
I should say Whole Foods got me sold.
Right? Which currently in the timeline that we're talking about on the show is 2017. So around this same time, this Eric, whether it's investor Eric or ex-boyfriend Eric, will soon be getting arrested for an attempted murder case, right? Anyway, now you may be like, well, how do you know it's in any way related to either one of these people? All right, so this particular Eric, criminal Eric, we'll call it criminal Eric, was born and lived in the UK, but came to the Bay Area on a short-term visa to work at a startup related to effective altruism.
Still more sold by the Whole Foods than that.
Sounds familiar, right? So we're pretty sure
Yeah.
that it is one of these people. Now, this Eric, criminal Eric, had serious mental health issues and apparently was experiencing a psychotic break when this happened. But at this point, knowing what we know about how this all turns out for everyone, we really need to start questioning what is going on with these altruistic, rational people and groups, because I feel like the percentage of people who end up having mental breakdowns, commit suicide, and murdering people is too high of a ratio for what is not really a high number of people.
One, I didn't even, just in my head, one, if you have to constantly say that you are a rationalist and altruistic, you're not. And two, in reference to Captain finding this stuff, where was Captain when one needed to find out where the fuck Carmen Sandiego was?
I mean,
And she
Exactly.
she has let me know. Captain has let me know. Oh, I found that bitch. So
yeah, she did. We are an
All right.
excellent team of researchers. We will eventually find things.
I was to say we will eventually find things.
Yeah.
Yes. Eventually. All right, continuing on. We were to decide project organization. Would this be a business, a nonprofit,
A cult.
A cult.
who, what could own boats? I think it was Jane that raised the idea my boat was common property. I said no. I said we should let the individuals own boats, set their own terms for interacting with the rationalist fleet. I convinced the other two of this.
Do you think this is Ziz using her mind control powers? Because I do.
Have
I
you ever
did.
seen that sketch on SNL with the Californians where they're like, "No, start! Oh my god!" Have you ever seen the sketch?
Yeah,
This
I
is
have.
how I imagine this one.
I have never seen
Um,
SNL. Never.
What?
I have never seen SNL.
I mean, I don't think you need to be a big fan, but like never, not even like one episode.
I've seen
All
a
right.
clip here and there, but that's
No.
okay. Just want y'all to know I'm not part of the
Alright.
SNL cult.
I'm not judging. I would not consider myself part of the cult.
I'm not an active watcher. All right, so boat purchases would be by single people or groups of people, whatever. Then, for all the stuff involving multiple boats we'd planned, our group would be the shelling medium for organizing it.
Mm.
This is really reminiscent of a group of college students trying to put together a club, except the college students are toddlers.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what of leadership, project structure? I suggested we make Gwen the dictator.
Mm.
We agreed unanimously that meant no power for Jane, and I'd rather have that than more power for myself. The trick was, I figured Gwen was good and Jane not.
Mm.
So this was maximizing the control that good had. This is the wizard of the. This is.
I think
I thought I did.
I think, does this mean maximizing the control that she has? And like, you're going to start a group, and the first thing's like, you know what? Whoever's in charge, we're going to call them the dictator, but people are free to go about and participate however they want. It's this freedom rationalist feat, but whoever's in charge is a dictator. Also, I think that she put Gwen in this position because I have met people who they don't want to be the face of things, so they try to control who is in charge, even though they're really the ones in charge. And I think that's what Ziz is pulling here. And how vindictive to be like, fuck you, Jane. All right, I'm not going to get it either because that's how much I don't like you. We're both going to lose. And I don't think so. I think Ziz knows that she has a lot more influence over Gwen and can use that to her advantage.
How does this work when the boat? I mean, it's the two of them on a boat, and what if they end up turning into a dragon and pony? Who's gonna win?
Ugh. They should have got Noah's Ark.
Joke, like a dragon and a My Little Pony walk into a bar, and I don't fucking care about the rest of the joke because that's enough of one.
Oh my goodness. All right, where are we in this story?
Well, I was apparently talking to people.
Yeah, so, quote, Gwen was talking to people in the rationalist community, rapidly attracting attention for being cool. but didn't have a Facebook account because, how cool can you be if you don't have a Facebook account? Some people
Tara.
I don't know, Tara.
I know. I don't have
Like Tara.
I have no social media, guys, because I am.
You
too
literally
fucking
have
cool.
a parrot on your shoulder called Pickle Tits. I don't know.
Pickle tits.
Let me tell you something. Of the two, I do think Gwen is way fucking cooler than Ziz. All right. I want to hang out with Gwen. Gwen, I want to hang out with you. Let's talk about your weird ideas and, it'll be great.
I just had a thought of something people could put in the chat as we go throughout this series. They can say, kind of like with the Sex and the City girls, everybody's like, I'm Samantha, I'm Charlotte, I'm Carrie. Maybe they can assign us one of these people.
Which Zizian are you? Like
Which
a BuzzFeed
Zizian
quiz.
Are you?
That is one of those quizzes I would never do because every time I'd have to watch a 1-minute ad just to get to the answer. And I just quit every time. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty.
So she goes on to say, some people talking about Slate Star Codex map of the rationality community mentioned us. This led to me talking to a rationalist named Dan Powell, relaying technical knowledge from Gwen. Gwen thought I was working miracles because I decided we should not be salesy to him, just say the straightforward truth of what we were thinking. Miracles, people, miracles. Ziz is performing miracles by just having a conversation. Tara is Charlie. You are. I'm going to say it right now in front of everybody. Amy is fired. Okay, fired.
Well, I'm going to just have to go out on a limb and say, Amy, I got your back. I was thinking the same.
It's the Pickle Tits. I tell you.
It's the Pickle Tits.
Dude, that's
But
what
I'd
it
be a
is.
way better cult leader than fucking Ziz.
You would be a
I
great
mean, you
cult
are just
leader.
like a pirate.
Thank you. Thank you. So the map, that's a good question. Can we bring that map back up, Amy? I don't understand the map. I was thinking the other day when I saw this that when I was on Reddit, I had searched Ziz, and I did come across the group called the Slate Star Codex who had commented on them, but I never looked into them. But apparently there's this whole interactive map. We didn't get into it, but listen, I'll make a deal with you. If you guys leave comments under this video that you want to know more about this rationality map, leave a comment and maybe I might make an episode to talk about it.
The title of this map is The Blogosphere. Technically more of a... I can't read that, but I love how in brackets underneath the blogosphere it says technically more of a something. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
I can't.
Of a bio go something, I don't know, but like it has stuff. Since I know so much about this case, like I'm like, ooh, I know that thing and I know that thing, but I also don't know what this is. Also, another side note, you guys want to leave comments, all right? Because up here, well, in the back one, anyway, it says up where it says Reverend Thomas Bay, it says HP Moore. By the way, that is a fan fiction for Harry Potter in the rationalist community. So if you want to hear us read that gem of a fan fiction, leave a comment under this video.
yes,
and we will.
Please.
Anyway.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet,
There's
but
no
it
Betsy.
In
exists. Anyway.
Texas, there's a Betsy.
So Ziz goes on to say, I said something about TDT, which is timeless decision theory. We're not going to get into whatever that means. We'll save that for something else because I don't know. But Gwen may have later said they'd just been too cautious to actually talk. He said if we found a ship, he being Pow said if we found a ship matching certain criteria, he'd be willing to pitch in $50,000.
Come the fuck on again. What kind of life does one have to lead to be able to pitch in 50,000? Because I flinch when Venmo asked if I want to tip the pizza guy who already left. So
I have better ideas than these people. If you want to donate $50,000 to me and to make
It's
something
called
happen.
True Crime and Wine.
I should
Time
say
live.
True Crime and Wine Time would be happy to accept your donation. And then we could be here 7
wanna
days a
back it?
week.
Yeah.
And we are a
Exactly.
boat that is not going to sink.
No.
I am going to say one thing, though. I'm not willing to do certain things for that $50,000, like murder somebody, something like that.
Well,
But other than that,
as
I'm
we
open.
learned on the show last Thursday, it's only $5,500.
It's only
to
$5,000.
hire somebody to kill somebody, so it's fine.
Pay me 50,
Well,
I can pay somebody
yeah.
5,000 and I can make $45,000 profit.
Then I'd have to have a daughter who had a boyfriend, and it's just a whole who had a cousin who had another cousin who had a friend. It was just
Now, Gwen had been looking at a sailboat because why not? A 36-foot Lancer called Lito de la Mer, which means Star of the Sea. But guess what? We usually just called it the Lancer or just Lancer because Lito de la Mer is just too dang hard. Now, the engine was broken, but Gwen was confident they could fix it. Gwen asked
because there's
me
two
if
kinds of ways to boat.
That's right.
There is. But Gwen asked me if she should buy it, even if we might switch to a larger ship. They gave me a bunch of little intangible reasons they really wanted to. It was $5,000. Not really knowing the trade-offs, I said, go ahead. Big mistake. Big mistake. Gwen found an ad for a ship, and we went to Seattle to check it out. Now, it was a former Coast Guard cutter named Pacific Hunter. Now, we didn't buy Pacific Hunter. We changed course for a tugboat, Caleb, in Ketchikan because the price was dropping.
Look how big that boat is. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But
That is a
Pacific
big
Hunter,
boat.
look at.
That's a
I
big
don't
boat.
trust nobody with that boat, let alone Ziz.
Yeah, no. So I was sent back to help Jane move the Lancer after everything had failed. I mean, string of emergencies for 1 month. Gwen yelling at me, Jan deflecting, Marina's deflecting, somehow pulling through.
You know, I am so annoyed that Ziz gives us zero details on Gwen yelling at her because I want to know what Gwen said. Good for you, girl, standing up. And Jane leaving them for good because it does seem in all my research that this is the end of Jane's interactions with Gwen and Ziz. And I want to know why. What happened? I bet it has something to do with Ziz. Also, how does a Marina defect? Like, why? Because they asked you to fucking pay some bills or shit? Like, what?
That's
It woke
what I was
up one
wondering.
day, put on sunglasses, lit a cigarette, and said, I'm not that kind of Marina anymore. I'm off the grid now, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, so here we are in July of 2017. Ziz, Gwen, and that investor we just mentioned,
Tara.
Dan Powell, decide to purchase. They decide to purchase the Caleb, which is a 94-foot World War II. That photo is from World War II, and it still looks like a pile of shit.
It's
And it's based in
that
Alaska.
is a POS. They need to name it the POS.
That's what happens when states don't require state inspections on their cars. What's interesting is that Ziz writes about all sorts of other dumb shit, but apparently ran out of time and only has this to say in regards to the purchase and the 1,500-mile voyage on the Caleb. I recruited crew for Caleb. We bought it. We repaired it. We drove it down the coast. Dan threatened physical violence. Left at the end. Left us in boat hell. Months to dig out. Get 3 damaged sailboats secure. Prevent Caleb from sinking. Perpetual ocean machine. Unable to dock. Of course, it seems like an actually interesting story as opposed to the rest of her life. So Of course, she avoided it and didn't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Now,
It's just, yeah.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't pay $1 for that boat. Just saying. It looks like you need to put it out of my fire pit and throw a match on it.
I just don't. I don't know. And I've said this before. I think probably on the last episode, but like boat stands for bring out another 1,000, right? And that's how I kind of feel like this was like that's where that phrase came from. This boat right here. By the way, can we quickly, producer Amy, can we quickly go back to the World War II era photo of the tugboat? This thing looked like shit then.
Yeah.
I don't. What was it tugging? You know what? Don't answer that question. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But we're just gonna keep going. Keep going.
You know, what interests me about what little she has to say is that once again, Ziz is blaming it all on somebody else, right? It's this Dan guy's fault. Threatened physical violence, allegedly.
Oh, Danny boy, the ship is falling.
Now, Ziz may not have given us the dates in her blog, but don't worry, we got you guys. All right, so this tale is fun. So on July 1st, 2017, Ziz made the following Facebook post. Quote, "Who wants to drive a tugboat from Alaska to the San Francisco Bay? Expenses will be covered." Between that and sending out a mass email to people affiliated with CFAR, she managed to recruit a few willing participants. The ragtag crew consisted of Ziz, Gwen, and Dan Powell, the investor, who, by the way, was a Navy veteran with general nautical mechanical experience. So a good person to bring aboard here, right? As well as someone who was a PhD candidate in computer science at UC Berkeley, and some other guy. They made their way to Alaska, and on July 20th, they set sail to California. Now, we're going to play this video that one of the guys made of their journey, and we had to cut the music due to copyright. But if you guess the song, it is "I'm on a Boat" by the Lonely Island Boys, featuring the one and only T-Pain. So if you guessed that, you are correct. Anyway.
I got my flippy floppies. You at McDonald's straight flipping burgers. I'm flipping coffee. Wow. That's not how you do that. I'm not even like a boat person. I just know. I've seen enough Deadliest Catch. This is just fascinating. Look
This
at
goes
this.
on for 3 minutes.
They're pulling the boat in.
That's because they don't know how to pull it up and bounce off. Oh, man.
Oh, this goes on for like 3 minutes.
They done fucked up.
You guys can see if you can spot Ziz in this video. Oh, it was dolphins.
Little dolphins.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Flipper.
The dolphins were following them because they were like, "Ziz is an asshole like we are."
That's true. Dolphins are assholes, by the way. You should know.
Bite your tongue, both of you.
It's true.
That is rude, and I am
upset.
Are assholes. Well, maybe it's because of the person that they were interacting with, because they have not been assholes to me.
I mean, randomly humping people. I didn't consent.
You want to call it humping is being polite.
I know.
I don't mind a little dolphin hump every now and then.
Oh God, I need that on a shirt.
All right.
This is incredible. Just incredible. So, like as Captain said earlier, it's like it's a little more T-Plane in this case. Like it's like T-Pain in a white T-shirt in the finals of a wet T-shirt contest where they only use milk. T-Plane.
Oh my goodness.
Now,
they looked up to say, "Did I tie it off right?" Nope. Had to undo it.
That's because they only learn 2 things, okay?
That's right.
Yes, about rich people.
Yes. So, what does it say? What did the sign say?
It said I didn't fuck a mermaid.
Oh my goodness. Did it really?
Producer Amy, can you go back to that sign, please? It's forward somewhere along the way. I don't know if you can
my
or not.
God.
Yeah, I think it's more towards the end
Yeah,
of the video, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
I probably won't let you. It's okay. It's all right. It's not. That's what it said. It said I fucked a mermaid, which is funny because that's
Is
probably
that I
the part on
did or I
the song.
didn't?
I
did?
didn't.
Ah,
You didn't. Okay. Oh, here we go. Maybe.
no,
Nah,
I think
oh,
it's
no,
further
there's a
towards
while.
the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Well,
been a
I'm
while.
going to just say, y'all, Powell described Ziz as eccentric and overly confident.
I mean,
Surprise, surprise. But still figuring herself out, and that her beliefs at the time weren't out of line with the broader rationalist community, just maybe taken a bit more seriously. Now, Ziz's lack of maturity revealed it soon after they set sail. That's when Powell said that he began to notice major gaps in her plans.
yeah, I know Amy is looking for this. I
know,
didn't
I'm
fuck
like-
a mermaid sign.
It's coming. It's
That's what
just a
she
little
said.
bit, just a little bit further.
That's what she said.
It's right after this, where he ties it and is like, "Oh crap, I did it wrong."
We're like children.
It's coming.
And we are.
Yep,
I
We're
mean,
like children.
it's worth it. It's worth it. It's a really crappy sign too. Come on.
oh, there
now.
it is. Oh,
There it is. Ah!
okay. Well, okay. I
That's
wanted
okay.
to pause because no, Amy, go back to that photo because it is imperative that we talk about that still of Sis from the video. Can you guys? Sis is dressed in her black cloak because she's a Sith. Remember, she's cosplaying on the ship, and everyone's pulling, and she's just standing there. Like, I can't even handle this photo. I'm you guys know I find this to be insufferable, and this really encapsulates her so much.
Okay. Rude, Sam.
Oh,
That is not
Sammy,
me. It looks nothing
I
like you.
love
Oh my
you.
God.
I love you, Sammy.
Look at her. You think she's helping with like her Jedi mind trick?
She's
For mind
using her
powers,
mind
yes.
to do it. Definitely.
I like to think that she does this and like tries real hard, but then just farts.
It's just-
I got a new phone and I haven't set a background or lock screen yet. And I think that this might be my picture because it brings me lots of joy and makes me feel good about myself.
It's them. It's basically her like looking at them going, "Ah, new celebrity." I can't do Snape, but if I could, that's what I.
Guys, y'all are making me laugh so hard. I'm laughing myself.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're
Anyway.
going to move on. So, Ziz led me to believe that she had established contacts in the Bay and that it would be easy for us to at least get a slip. If not, that one was approved for overnight use. And as it turns out,
There's the sign.
there's the sign.
That's sad face indeed. Sad
That
face
is.
indeed.
Oh my God. That mermaid is so thankful.
That's the
As it turns-
that's the guy that Sam thinks I look like.
Right? And you all thought I was weird that I came dressed as a pirate. Now that we've seen Ziz dressed as a Sith
now
on a
we all
boat.
know. Now, and
It's
as
still
it turns
early
out,
in the series.
It's true.
it is. It is. So where was I? And as it turns out, when we were coming through the inside passage from Alaska, it was revealed that we did not have a place to arrive.
Wow. What? Ziz didn't come through with a plan? Shocking. Oh my goodness.
I think if she ever actually came up with a plan, I'd like spontaneously salute, whisper, "She's done it," and then immediately burst into flames from the sheer violation of the narrative consistency that would be happening at that moment.
Yeah. Girl.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Well, since we don't know the name of the fifth person on this voyage because they wanted to remain anonymous, we're gonna call him Popeye.
What?
I feel like Popeye on this ship would be hysterical, just like,
I am what I am. You am what you are. But what in the seven soggy hells is this polygamous philosophy cult regatta?
Popeye said that the trip was pretty smooth with the exception of a faulty sewage system in the only bathroom. That's kind of a
lovely.
big deal. Popeye, however, did have this to say, quote, I'm not gonna, this was a little on the creepy side, but well below the scary threshold. Ziz was just more confident than I thought she had the right to be in a snake costume, and she was abrasive about it.
Honestly, I can't think of a better way to describe her. They like nailed it. That's pretty.
I was gonna say, nailed it.
Yeah.
Right there. And at one point, Ziz confronted Popeye about being transgender. He said, quote, I am not trans, and Ziz was convinced I was. I told her to drop it, and she dropped it. Sadly, Popeye didn't stay for the whole adventure, and after 4 weeks, he deboarded in Washington.
Aw.
I guess they ran out of spinach. Plus, not having a sewage system and eating that much spinach, probably not a great combo.
Probably. I just love how Zoz is like opening her mouth again. Like she's going to convince somebody. Oh, gosh. She's so fucking insufferable. Anyway. So once they arrived at the Pillar Point Harbor in San Francisco, things rapidly started going downhill. Shocker. I know. So Powell said he departed almost immediately after docking and returned back to New Mexico. He cut ties with both Ziz and Gwen. Overall, he estimated that he sank tens of thousands of dollars into the project and recouped none. Quote, the entire endeavor seems to have been a total loss. And if there is any one quote that really sums up this entire series, it's really that one. It's really, really that one.
I'd be more pissed off about the days of my life that I lost.
Right? And he put in 50
than the
grand.
money at this point.
The
I'm like,
shit.
Hey, he said he could
Boat.
just throw it, so, he's obviously got it laying around. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that he threw the 50 grand and all of a sudden he's on a boat with a Sith Lord really should have been a clue.
Like, this is bad.
He was like,
Oh my
"Too
gosh.
bad."
So the San Mateo County Harbor District actually filed a lawsuit against Gwen and Powell. So the first time the U.S. Coast Guard boarded the tugboat for an inspection, the agency warned Gwen about the dangers of anchoring the dilapidated vessel, which carried 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel and other hazardous petroleum products.
In the bay.
Maybe that's why it was so cheap.
Maybe.
In the bay.
Yeah. Gwen even signed papers acknowledging her obligations under the Clean Water Act, but neighbors had already lodged complaints about the Caleb being docked illegally and storing 500 gallons of oily, bilgy water. The Coast Guard called the boat, quote, an imminent threat to the public health, and ordered the owners to find a mitigation plan. Rough seas in the winter of 2017 sent the tug into other anchored vessels and damaged them.
My God. Like, my kingdom for Phil from the Cornelia Marie, just hearing him rip them all a new one and damn it, get the pots ready. Like,
Like, to call your boat an imminent threat to the public. Jeez.
it's a boat. Like
It's a
I think
ship.
it's less I'm on a boat and more like in the Navy. Da, 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 da.
I mean,
It's
I'm
crazy.
just sitting here counting. Thank God I didn't live in the Bay Area anymore when this was going on, because this is insane.
Actually,
Insane.
I'm not gonna lie. Kind of would have been fun if you did.
Well, true, it would have been. So now things are not going well for Ziz and Gwen and whoever else may be staying with them at this time.
We don't know.
And one would think that maybe they would throw in the whole rat fleet towel. But guess what, guys? They did no such thing. Instead, Gwen doubles down and registers 2 more boats at Pillar Point Harbor, including her Islander that she and Zip once shared, and the L'Etoile de la Mer sailboat we mentioned earlier. Now, over the next year, the vessels all faced anchor problems, and other harbor tenants raised concerns that the massive tugboat might ram them.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like it's less the boats and more the person who can't be anchored in reality. Like, you have to be. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't
they
know.
don't have their mind anchors dropped anywhere.
I don't. I don't. Now, a former employee at the harbor, who, by the way, wanted to remain anonymous for safety reasons.
Another one.
Smart person. Described the Caleb as less than seaworthy and that its shabby crew was a nuisance. Guys, get ready.
That
rat
cute.
is adorable.
Adorable.
But they called them feral humans, we call them. They're just living, trying to get away with whatever they can under the wire. Most harbors have them. Harbor rats that are just living the alternative lifestyle.
Which is like, honestly, the nicest possible way to say this is what happens when Burning Man overstays its visa and decides to unionize on a sinking boat. and like, if this is the admiral of this rat fleet, then congratulations, she's the first person ever to lead a maritime movement fueled entirely by vibes, spite, and expired granola. That is hysterical. That got funnier.
Oh, look at the rat has a little
hat.
Has a little bike helmet on. Oh, I love it. I'll put my mic
honestly,
on.
truly, that I'm going to adopt a rat and dress him up like a Sith with a helmet.
That is adorbs. I need someone to send me that picture.
Man.
That might need to be printed and put up on my wall.
Yes, I think it should be.
So
we make the
these
helmet
people just
ones.
sound awful. Like, what a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
They have created for themselves and everyone around them. And here's the thing too, is like, so I mean, we have like little motorboats in pontoons in Ohio. Like, we don't have big sailboats and shit here, right? And this tugboat, it sounds freaking gigantic. And Gwen and Ziz are guiding this tugboat around. Can you imagine?
Well, this is using her mind.
That's true.
Ziz is using her mind.
That's true. But like, the fact that they were like, we can totally do this.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well,
I mean, there's some confidence there. I'm not sure they should have that confidence, but
no, I don't think so.
If you think this is where the insanity stops, no.
Yeah, it is, right?
Because Gwen is about to develop sleep tech. Towards the end of Rationalist fleet, Gwen began following a certain course of investigation, partial sleep. They told me and did a presentation at the 2017 CFAR alumni reunion about mental tech to let parts of your brain do REM sleep without the rest. On a granularity of slots of working memory. I don't.
So like
What?
sharks? Like the sharks do? I don't think the human brain works that way,
I
but
don't think so either.
okay, Gwen.
Gotta
I mean, not all of her ideas are bangers. Okay. We got
gotta do it like they do on the Animal Planet channel.
right, we got super intelligent dog ideas from her.
I
which,
mean,
I
but
mean,
wait a
maybe.
minute. She could just be way ahead of her time.
I mean,
Maybe.
sure.
I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to be kind.
We're
Well, I
trying.
mean, I'm glad she wasn't behind her time, or they'd go, "Oh, witch burner!" Like, so Gwen and
True
me,
that.
not literally me, but this is continuing on. Gwen and me were living on Caleb. Weird. And we were running out of money after our attempt to be brutal consequentialists and get paid by crabbers to take them out to drop their pots failed. You remember when you said they were confident? They were fucking confident.
Yeah, they were.
I resumed my application process to Google by reminding them that I existed, as I had slipped through the cracks.
Okay.
Gwen
As a
got
person in
minimum wage
HR,
job.
in recruiting,
Yes, tell us.
that is
Sarah.
a red flag, and you mark that person is never interview, never hire, because they are batshit crazy.
I meant
That's what
to,
you do.
'cause you were on the last episode because you were unwell. But that is what, now that you bring that up, that is one of the things I wanted to ask you as like an HR person, like how much of this Google interview shit is like, that's not really how things work. It's just that you suck and you're weird and crazy and we don't want you.
Now, I will say I interviewed with Google one time just because I wanted to see what it was like to go through their interview process. The best thing about the interview was I got a great free lunch
Ooh.
because they have the campus and they
Oh.
feed you there and they have their
Nice.
own thing. But other than that, yeah, but that would be, don't remind me that you slipped through the cracks if you're applying with me, because guess what? That means you're in file 13 crack.
I was gonna say.
So Gwen's dad, according to this, is apparently a dick. Gwen got a minimum wage job, something to do with flowers in Costco, and then doing drafting work for their dad for more. But the work is sporadic. Later, he would fail to pay entirely.
Okay, so wait a second. All right, so these die-hard,
Blowhard.
extreme vegans who believe that all of us who eat meat are flesh-eating monster Nazis plan to give crabbers rides to earn money.
Epic.
Oh,
Right. Way to stick with your principles, guys.
Well,
Way to
maybe
stick with that.
I
Maybe
didn't
they
even
wanted-
think of
listen,
that.
they are very. Do you remember like one of the things for rationalism or whatever is that the end of the world's coming, so sometimes we have to go south in order to go north. So what they were merely doing
Sorry.
is perhaps maybe what they were doing was they were catching the crabs to then save the crabs.
No,
Like, maybe
other
it was
people
like
were
a
doing
forced-
it and paying them for driving them. They didn't even have anything to freaking do with the crabs.
But if they were driving them, then they would have access to the crabs, so they would save the crabs. See, it was like a forced Noah's Ark situation.
I guess you're being very generous. I don't think they give a actual
I'm
shit
thinking
about
they
anybody.
thought it
I
was the
don't
kind
think
of
so either.
I think they were thinking it was the kind of crabs you get in your pants, not the kind of crabs you eat.
Save the crabs is our banner.
Save
Everybody save the crabs. Put some crabs in chat. As Cap'n says,
Don't
yes,
be
Tara,
shellfish.
crab
Save the
rights.
crabs.
Crab
Just
rights,
saying.
that's right. Now y'all are making me hungry because a really good barbecued crab would be amazing.
Hey, I'm not judging people hunting crabs, but I'm just saying, if you're going to call me a flesh-eating monster Nazi,
Agreed.
get the fuck out of here.
Agreed.
Speaking of
What?
So it was convenient when they wanted it to be convenient, basically.
You could have gone anywhere to get a fucking job, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue on. We'll continue.
So a rift was starting to form between me and Gwen over money after the cost overruns with boat. Now, I had taken out a loan using social capital from trust from reliability that Quinn did not have and used it primarily to fix their problems.
Does
How
that?
generous.
So first off, I don't understand what they're saying there, except it sounds like she has a trust.
No, so
Yep.
what I gathered from this was that when she's saying, I took a loan out using social capital, meaning like taking advantage of the people she knows, from trust that
Oh.
she's more reliable than
From
Gwen.
trust.
I think that's what you guys, by the way, this bad grammar and everything, like this is all Ziz. We copied it like verbatim.
Yeah,
So
this is
grammar,
not us.
all that, that's on her.
I've never been happier not to understand shit.
But like how generous of her, and I like how she's still reminding everyone, just like in our last episode, that Gwen is a broke bitch. Like she just wants everybody to know she's a broke bitch. She has 3 boats now, apparently, that she's registered, but
Yeah.
We can't all have Sith robes.
I mean, she's I don't even know a word for her.
I mean, it's
Now-
also crazy that people trust Ziz and not Gwen when
I know.
Ziz says that Gwen was gathering people because of how cool she was.
No, she was just a master manipulator.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't
No,
view it
she
from-
said,
We are the friends you are looking for.
Now, they seem to have cognitive strategies and blind spots selected to get people to do this for them again and again. I accused them of this and coined the term money vampire.
she didn't coin that.
And remember,
She coined
Ziz's
that.
parents paid for like a bunch of shit.
As 6A.
That's what we learned then. Talk about money vampire.
Yeah.
Talk about a vampire in general. In my opinion, Ziz is a fucking vampire. She, as we'll see, leeches onto everybody and sucks out everything from them. But anyway, I digress. So Ziz goes on to write, quote, say this with a straight face, Tara. Okay, she says, quote, they used high mana warp to avoid the topic of money, to project false optimism wherever money was concerned, to get me to transfer them money as well.
Huh?
Using mana in everyday conversation is like calling your coffee a potion of clarity, or your fridge a cold spell, or a condom a barrier spell. Which it's too bad their parents had a barrier spell, but the pages they read from were holy. So
These people, something else.
Yeah.
Okay. So she goes on to say, quote, they ate slack from me in subtle ways. When I was working, they'd come near me and whimper again and again. How disgusting, you guys. To get me to spend days trying to give them a mental upgrade and to give them emotional support. A common theme was gender, whether they really thought of themselves as a woman or not. I said how I really did think of myself as a woman, despite putting basically no effort into transition, not passing at all. I no-selled social reality. They wanted that superpower. Okay. You know what it says? You put fucking no effort into everything of your life, okay? It's not a fucking superpower. Okay?
She is lazy. She is
Lazy.
capital lazy loser.
Bare minimum. Get the fuck out of here, Ziz. But okay.
Oh,
She goes on to say they would absorb my full attention for a multiple day attempted upgrade process. Other things they wanted this for was for them, quote, becoming a revenant, end quote, for them to stop yelling at me for making them look bad by not sticking the landing with Lancer.
Such the victim.
all right.
What, and also like, what are these mental upgrades? It takes multiple days. Like, what? And also, what are you even doing with your life, Ziz? Nothing.
Here's what before I get into some of the rest of this, like mental upgrades. C nap. So at one point, I sort of took a step back and saw the extent they were using me. I told them so. I was angry. I expressed this made us working together in the future a dubious proposition. They became desperate, repentant, got me to help with a mental upgrade process about this. According to the script, they said shit went down mentally. They said they fused with their money vampirism. And as a fused agent, they would mind control me in a way that's somewhat, but probably less. I said no. I would
no.
consider that aggression. I say no. I say it's raining sideways. Mental upgrade process.
Delayed.
I would consider that aggression and respond appropriately. They pleaded, saying they had finally, for the first time, probably actually used fusion and it might not stick and I would ruin it. I said no. They said they'd consider my response aggression and retaliate.
What the fuck? Like, what is happening? Oh my
Guys,
goodness.
they were essentially asserting ownership of me. And if they didn't back down, we then had no cooperative relationship whatsoever, which meant boat and finance hell would drag me on for quite some time, be very destructive to me accomplishing anything with my life. I guess I was essentially facing failure, death. I don't much care about the difference here.
So the way you've just read that, Terry.
I am feeling her.
I love it.
I am
so
feeling
Stop it.
great.
Stop it.
Do you guys all have these conversations like with your friends? I do.
I do
know.
all the time.
All the time.
I can't for the life of me imagine an honest conversation between any of them. At any point. Like, no. I can't even believe that conversations like this actually happen.
Honey,
it's not human. It is not. There is
so weird.
I have to tell you,
I don't get
you're
it.
so cute to think they even know what honesty means.
You knew a group like this, Amy? What?
Amy knew a group like this?
I mean, as we've learned, there's like more of them. There's people that bought into this, so.
Could you put us in touch with this group? Maybe they need to come on and educate us.
Yes.
Nope.
I would happily talk about it.
We just will not drink anything they provide to make sure we don't drink the Kool-Aid.
They probably spell Hun H-O-N. I don't want it.
Well, get ready. I said if they were going to defend a right to be attacking me on some level and treat fighting back as new aggression and cause to escalate, I would not at any point back down. And if our conflicting definitions of the ground state where no further retaliation was necessary meant we were consigned to a runway, positive feedback loop of revenge, so be it.
Well, is this okay? So, like, we make fun of what she said, but I feel like this is the exact conversation that goes on in the head of Quentin Tarantino, like with himself. Just saying.
It's the conversation I have.
I'm sorry. This is just like, what were they even? It's gone to like 0 to 20 very quickly.
I know it
reminds me of that roommate for the whole roommate thing. Like, what?
Just to 20 though, because there's no way it's smart enough to get to 100. It's like,
no. But guys, and if that was true, we might as well try to kill each other right then and there in the darkness of Caleb's Bridge at night, where we were both sort of sittingly lying under things in a cramped space. I became intensely worried, they could stand up faster. Consider the idea from World War I. Mobilization is tantamount to a declaration of war. I stood up, still, silent, waiting. They said I couldn't see them, but they were trying to convey with their body language they were not a threat.
Like,
She's so neurotic.
what is happening? You want to fight your bestie to death on a boat? Like, what are
Death
you?
to them.
They a pony. You can't do it.
Right? She's just sitting there waiting. I'm ready.
Calculating, planning,
Yes.
What?
waiting,
Good.
wanting.
Let the hate
Feeling.
flow through you.
That's so crazy. So she goes on to say, I said this seemed an instance of a skill I called unbreakable will, an intrinsic decision, theoretic advantage, broad-scoped utility functions.
Okay.
Like good seem to have in decision theory, which I manifested accidentally during my earlier thoughts on basilisk. We're bringing fucking mythological basilisk into the okay.
Oh my God.
I don't want to be on this boat anymore.
JT's
I'm
ready
done.
to walk off the plank.
I quit the boat. I'm
Honey,
over it.
I'm ready to jump off with him. I don't care if there's alligators and snakes below.
Out.
Take me.
I'm out.
Take me. I'm out.
I'm done.
So she goes
I
on to
want
say,
nothing to do with this.
she goes on to say, quote, they said our relationship was shifting, do you think? Maybe it was they realized I had more mana and would win if we fought for real. Maybe a shift in a dominance hierarchy. They said they'd rather be my number 2 than fight.
Who does number 2 work for? This
Ziz,
is like
girl,
reading the
I got more
opening
mana
script
than
of
you.
Stranger Things.
Like, challenge accepted, Ziz. Let's see who has more mana. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think they bring it on, Ziz.
What?
Quote, I was basically thinking, yeah, same old shit, just trying to press reset buttons in my brain like I'm repentant. And this submission script stuff made me uncomfortable. But I remembered the thing I'd said earlier when last talking to Fluttershy about maybe my hesitance to accept power. I finally sort of had a free month without boat problems left and right. I started writing a bunch of pent-up blog posts. I was hesitant about publishing them for a mixture of reasons, indicating I might be interested in filtering people based on the trait of being good would make it harder for me to do so in the future. Now, call it insane from me, but it's an awful lot like Light, Dark, and Lori Vallow, is it not?
Right? So much like that. So much. And I like how she keeps saying that, like, Gwen is repentant. Like, to her. Like, what? How? Girl, I hate this language so much.
I don't know,
She's
but
fucking crazy.
she has-
And you know what? Thank you, Ziz, for writing these blog posts that you were worried about publishing for a mixture of reasons. We are that reason. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Guys,
Thanks, girl.
I honestly think Ziz and Lori Vallow might be related. After recently watching the new Dateline episode of Keith Morrison interviewing her in prison just like a month ago, she kind of sounds like Ziz. Some of the things she says in here, they might be related in a different life or something, but
what it is that they share in common that makes them very similar to each other is mental illness.
yeah.
I mean, there's something
There
is
is.
not ticking right.
Yeah, something's not.
I don't
Yeah. I mean, people
quite understand.
who are very, very smart sometimes do have higher mental illness and stuff because they can't understand common things because their brain works at such a superior level. I would
Sure.
not know what that level is because I don't know what 2 + 2 = 5, but that's what I'm thinking.
Well, listen, this goes on to say, I hesitated a bunch before publishing Mana. Revealing publicly I had mind control powers might have irreversible bad consequences.
You guys, I can't even with her.
I'm with you, Tara. I can't. I need lip gloss.
It's like,
I kept coming to the conclusion over and over again. People are stupid. That is one thing we agree with. People don't do things with information. But I was much more worried about, i.e., evil people ganging up to kill off good people if the information became public. I
Oh.
played the scenario out in my mind a bunch of ways. Strip away morality. Favoring of good baked into language. Good was just the utility function that had a couple % of the human population as hands, rather than only one human. No reason for individual evil sociopaths to side against that really. Jailbroken good was probably more likely to honor bargains, or at least intrinsically interested in their welfare. I released that blog post too. I feel like she's smelling toast at this point. I'm confused.
listen, and I'm going to say this later as well in the show, but after we're done catching up on all the Zizian overall, if you guys want us to cover more of Ziz's blog posts, because they're there, you guys, they're there in the future, because there are quite a few of them. And if you want to learn more about Mana and all of her mental tech, then leave a comment in the comment section of this video below to let me know you want to hear more, and I will happily see what I can put together for everyone, because
and
there's more. I could only pick one. This is just one blog post, y'all. One.
In about a month, you guys will see we're going to be out on Audible. It'll be Ziz's blogs read by. It took us a while because we just kept vomiting. It was hard. It was difficult.
Yeah.
It's throwing our equilibrium off. It's just too much of the mind tech and the mental spaces and the lime and the coconut. It was just weird.
Right.
I love that my lights went off as y'all were saying that. I was like, maybe it's Ziz's mind control that made my lights
Her
go
lights went off a
Mine.
long time ago.
We've stared too long into each other's eyes.
I'm like, okay, is she in my house? So now we are going to move where Gwen and Ziz meet Maya Pasek. And here is a little bit about Maya's background. Pasek appeared and started commenting on my blog. Their name at the time was Chris Pasek. Later changed their name to, I think it's Maya Pasek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maya. Mm-hmm.
Later identified as left hemisphere male, right hemisphere female, and changed Maya to just the name of their right hemisphere. I can't, people. And Shine to be the name of the left hemisphere. They never establish a convention for how to call the human as a whole. So I've just been calling them by their last name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, it's really hard having a conversation with your family about like coming out as gay or bi or whatever. I can't imagine sitting down with my family saying that.
I was like, going, where are we going with this?
I mean, listen, live your truth. Live your truth.
Agreed.
I respect it, but it seems like a trap. Like it's a trap. Like I feel like you're gonna be wrong no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this is a fun exercise for the chat while we're reading. Like, why don't you guys leave some comments on what you would name your two halves of the brain? And by the way, this is a Ziz theory, is that the brain is the female side and the male side, completely different. They want to harm each other and kill each other. And it's part of their like fucking mind tech thing that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's a whole different thing. But why don't you let us know some of what your brain halves would be named there?
It reminds me of Joe Dirt when he goes, "I got mic 1, mic 2, and they're ready for feedback." You know, like it just.
Well, I can guarantee you, I have a female side and a female side. I mean, I'm all pink sparkles. There is not any masculine male side in there. I'm sorry.
And then she also goes
There's not
into
in
like
here
how
either,
one
don't worry.
half can be good and other half can be bad, or they can both be bad, or they can both be good. Spoiler alert, you want to guess who has two good sides? Anybody want to take a guess? Who's good?
Says.
Gotcha, bingo.
I have good and bad. I will
Caleb.
tell you, they have to fight each other out often. They get into a battle. When I
me
go to
too.
stab and kill somebody, the other side says, "No, you'll get caught."
Yeah. So,
Man, you gotta shut that
anyway,
other side up.
so Ziz sends an email to Maya. Squirrel in hell. Why? We don't know. I don't know. So Ziz emails Maya, and she titles this email subject world optimization and or friendship. It's a nice offering.
It's a choose your own adventure.
Delete.
Yes.
Delete.
Which one do you want? We're fine with whatever. She says,
It could be both. I don't know.
I see you like some of my blog posts, which we all know is a very big deal of whether or not Ziz wants to talk to you. So she says, I see you like some of my blog posts. My true companion, Gwen, and I are taking a somewhat different than MIRI approach to saving the world. Without much specific technical disagreements, we are running on something pointed to by the approach, quote, as long as you expect the world to burn, then change course, end quote. We've been somewhat isolated from the rationalist community for a while. I wonder why that is. Driving a tugboat down the coast from Kitchitan, Alaska to the San Francisco Bay to turn it into housing, repairing it, fighting local politics and other stuff. And in the course developed a significant chunk of unique art of rationality and theories of psychology aimed at solving our problems.
This is like the most cogent thing that I've read from her.
It's true.
And like when I thought about it, it kind of makes sense because she's trying to pull someone in. You know, so before it goes crazy,
Yes.
you know, brings them in. But I do love how Gwen, aka Broke Bitch Mountain, is all of a sudden like her true companion.
That's fucking hilarious. Nailed it.
Thanks.
I mean, I just want to go chick ding, you know.
I think in our like 2 years of knowing each other, that might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
I think I agree.
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God.
My face hurts so much. Oh my goodness. Anyway. So, and this, in case you haven't figured out, is a recruitment email, in my opinion.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes. So she goes on in this email to say, we are trying to build a cabal, choice word, to pursue convergent instrumental incentives, starting with 1, economical housing, the Bay Area, and thereby the ability to free large amounts of intellectual labor from wage slavery to Bay Area landlords, and the equilibrium where, be it unpaid overtime or whatever, tech jobs take up as much high quality intellectual from an individual as they can in a week. And 2, abnormally high quality filtering on the things upstream of the extent to which Moloch saps the productivity of groups of 2 to 10 people. Specifically, Malik has it out for groups of 2 to 10, just in case you're wondering.
Very
We
specific.
want very specific.
That's why our team has 11.
We want to find That's true. That's true. We want to find abnormally, intrinsically good people and turn them all into Gervais sociopaths.
Ricky Gervais sociopaths.
Creating a fundamentally different kind of group than I have heard of existing before. Are you in the Bay Area? Would you like to meet us to hear crazy shit and see if we like you?
23 / female / single /
Listen.
Okay, but that's probably the most honest statement I think I have read.
That's true.
Would you like to meet us to hear crazy shit and to see if we like you? That is probably the most sane statement.
The hands.
Oh my God, look at the hands.
You know, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. And you know what, Ziz? You did it, girl. You definitely created a fundamentally different kind of group that hasn't existed before. And we're here to talk about it. Knocked it out of the park, really. I don't think in the way you wanted to, but here we are.
And here's what I see. After you say that, I see this starting to pull out Flavor Aid and you being like,
put the Flavor Aid back, girl.
She's just like,
what a wild email.
With like blog post stuff.
World optimization and or friendship.
What I would get if I got an email like that. I'm sitting here thinking, how would I respond?
Right?
Oh, here we go. You want to know how it's responded? We're going to tell you now.
Oh.
They replied, I think I met Gwen on a CFAR workshop in February this year. I was just visiting, though. I am EU-based, and I definitely feel like I've had enough of the Bay for now. I'm myself in the process of seeing up a rationalist utopia from scratch on the Canary Islands. Currently, we have 2 group houses and are on a steep growth curve, while I recently got funding to do a full-time AIS research. So I've got enough stuff on my hands, as you can imagine. And I just to take a pause for a second, all I can see is Ziz reading this going, ah. Just like needing a new pair of pants.
Yes.
No, anyways, as for the description of your strategy, it raises some alarm bells.
Finally, somebody being like, what did you just say?
I just spit out my drink all over myself. Finally, somebody says what I've been trying to say for weeks.
Especially the part with turning people into Gervais sociopaths. Though I can't tell much without hearing more, unless any or all of you want to take a cheap vacation and fly over here sometime. We probably won't have much opportunity to cooperate, though I would be happy to do a video chat at least and see if we can usefully exchange information. BTW, I appreciate your message, which I think demonstrates a certain valuable approach to opportunities, which could be summarized as, quote, grab the sucker while you can.
I mean, listen, Pasek calls it, but Pasek falls for it. So, but
oh my God,
I will say, good job, Pasek. Saying what we all were like.
Now, I did video call with them after giving the camera tour of Caleb. We talked about strategy. I tried to explain the concept of good to be.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I wasn't dressed for the occasion. I didn't realize we were back on the boat. Hold on. I'm sorry.
There you go. They insisted actual altruism was unimportant. And basically, the only thing that mattered was, do they have any real thought? Any TDT at all? Because if they do, the optimal selfish thing to do is the optimal altruistic thing to do.
That's not how any of this works. That is not how any of this works.
I know,
I
like,
like how she has to explain the concept of good. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what?
Like I said, if you have to say you're altruistic, you ain't altruistic.
No. What are you even saying right now? But okay, girl.
Oh, it gets better. I described how Rationalist fleet, me and Gwen, ended up doing all the important work, most of the object level labor. But what mattered most was steering, course correction, executive decisions. These decisions can only be made by someone who was aligned as an optimizer, as in their entire brain. How this ultimately required sociopathy for being unowned by the external world.
Yeah,
and it's unpawned world, but
pwned. We determined it last episode.
I know we all went through that last week. Pwned, pawn.
She says it so much now. I'm so annoyed about it.
I still say it's a pawn.
You have when I read that, all I could think of was like, you have to be a sociopath to stay unpwned, but like that's not that. Like that's being oblivious to the reality and unable to read a room. It's like,
yeah,
like you stay unpwned, but you still are, even if you can't tell that you are. It's like the whole "What Makes You Beautiful" song from One Direction, which I may have said on this show before. But like the whole point is that she's beautiful, but she's beautiful because she doesn't know that she's beautiful. So they wrote a song telling her that she's beautiful, so she hears it and knows it and is no longer beautiful, thereby making her not. I'm sorry, I think I just had an aneurysm. But like that's what I'm talking. Like this is that case. Just because you can't read a room and you don't know how to human doesn't mean you're unpwned. It just means you can't read the fact that you are being pwned. This is like my coworker.
I like how she says that her and Gwen are doing all the important work. And all I can think about is that still shot of where she's just standing in her robe.
Right there, and they're doing all the work. But she's doing it with her mind.
Like, okay, girl. You guys and you can only drive a boat if you are intrinsically good.
Look, that's right.
Just to let you know, nobody else is capable of driving a fucking boat. But okay.
Now she will cut you open to find out if you were intrinsically good.
That's true.
That's right. Now, they said sociopathy to avoid being pwned. To avoid being pwned was a tough game. Miss one piece of it and you would be pwned. Mm-hmm. Everyone would try to pwn you. They said they would try to pwn me. Okay. I kept mentally going back and forth on whether they were good. I asked if they were a vegan or a vegetarian. I think they said almost a vegetarian for some reason, even though it was stupid because consequentialism.
What is an almost vegetarian?
That's why I'm sitting here going, maybe that's how they got around doing the crab thing.
Like, oh no, she's talking about Pasek, who lives in Poland. Apparently, is almost. Okay. I was like, what? Almost. I think that just means she probably eats like fish or something like that. I forget what those people are called. That
aren't those called
pescatarians?
Pescatarians.
Yes, but I don't know if there's no
that word. I'm sorry.
But that pesky consequentialism gets in the way.
I'm gonna sum up the rest of these conversations and Maya had. Maya's working a lot of hours. Maya suggests making some sort of chat or Facebook group for trans girls trying to save the world, which I'm pretty sure Ziz said that might be something I'd check out once. I think that was the response that she had.
Yeah, I might maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. How badly do you want me there?
I can't be bothered. I'm busy, not being pwned.
Maya, not realizing I'm being pwned, Maya talks about how she too is trying to start a rationalist community in the Canary Islands and recruiting people for that. And at the same time, Ziz is trying to get Maya to fly from Poland to San Francisco so they can actually talk about things because Ziz didn't trust her electronics to not be recording her at all times. Neuropathy. I just like trying to
Like,
send nude pics. Just send me a nude pic. That's all.
Fly
That's what that is.
halfway across the world to talk to me because what we have to talk about is so fucking important. I think people are listening in. Like, what?
But Ziz won't go. Ziz won't go.
Well, hopefully,
Maya
if
has
Ziz
to.
did go, they wouldn't let her back in the U.S. if she came back.
Jesus. So she goes on to say, and this is what she says, quote, very quickly written summary of rest of stuff. Because again, we're great with the words. Pasek thought Gwen was mind controlling me, goaded me all day with maybe I'm going to never talk to you again, but here's a tidbit of information. Finally revealed the thing. I don't know what that means. And honestly, it's weird that Pasek is like the only person that's being like, Gwen is taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
I think the thing is Rhonda Burns' The Secret.
The secret. The secret.
I'm kidding. JK.
It's the secret. Isn't it like some weird like cult thing? I think it is.
The Secret. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that Oprah push. Yeah.
The secret. Okay, so she goes on to say, quote, seeing this, I was like, mind control is everywhere. The only way to break out is to not be attached to anyone. I entered the void in desperation. Said, dry leaves was the only answer, really, if you didn't want to be in a poning matrix with anyone. It was only particularly visible in my case because I was pwned by interaction with one person rather than diffused. And at least Gwen was independently pulling towards saving the world.
I mean, to a degree, girl, same, but could have just said, like, I found out I couldn't trust anybody, therefore I'm not going to get close to people, so I entered a depression. That was one sentence.
GT, mind control.
6 of them.
Yeah, I'm like,
sorry.
GT,
Sorry.
program.
I controlled my own. Didn't know I was doing it.
So she goes on to say, basically, the next day, Pasek became extremely impressed with my overall approach. Boy, does she love flattery. I started resisting Gwen's mind control. Pasek saw and was satisfied with this. Pasek noticed my thing for what it was. Psychopathy. That's what she says, you guys.
Not wrong.
Her freaking words. Her freaking words, y'all. Psychopathy.
Psychopathy. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And she made this a publicly available blog.
I know. This wasn't a private journal, people. This was public.
No.
100%.
She goes on to say, Pasek began to see Gwen as disarmed, as a mimic threat, then to see them as useful. We each went on our own journey of jailbreaking into psychopathy fully. So, just so everyone's clear, Ziz has self-described herself as a psychopath, but is all good, double good. Okay. Remember her 2 halves, double good as a psychopath.
Good psychopath.
And let's not forget, everybody, she is saving the mother effing world. Like, seriously, what in the fuck are you? What?
In her mind.
So, quote, I broke up with my family.
As one does.
As one does. They were a place I could my mind, not just doing what I thought was the ideal consequentialist thing. Sorry, I think I sprain something. My feelings for them, my interactions with them were human, not agentic, never stray from the path.
What?
Oh yeah, well, hold on. Hold on to your lily white butt
Oh,
for the next one. I temporarily went non-vegan following left hemisphere consequentialism, praxis blind, attempt to remove every last place where my left hemisphere's core, was not cleanly flowing through all structure. You could have said you just accidentally had a burger. Briefly disabled the thought process I sort of thought as my phoenix by convincing her that even beginning to think was predictably net negative. What in the fuck is happening?
bet your core is not a fucking phoenix. Right?
Your core.
Get out of here.
I mean,
What?
I mean, it's a phoenix, but it's like
Also, I
before
put the phoenix as my
Hawk
animal
dies.
for the singularity. Just putting that out there.
we need to get a psychologist, a psychiatrist to give us the thoughts on this, because what the actual fuck?
I know. That's all you can say when you.
Well,
read it.
I mean, all the psychologist is going to say is, look, she self-diagnosed, that psychopath. That's what she is. Like, there's your answer.
right?
Well,
Okay.
Pask sent me a blog post they had recently published, Decision Theory in Suicide. Me and Gwen and Pasek rapidly developed a bunch of mental tech for the next few months, trying to, as a central objective, actually understand how good worked so we could reliably filter for it. Okay.
What?
I know, I'm like, you got to filter for the good. Okay. I'm on board with you, girl. Gwen rediscovered debucketing, a fact that has been erased from their mind long ago. Pasek was on the edge of discovering it independently. They both came to agreement, shared terminology, etc. I joined in.
Oh, of course you did.
Intense internal conflict between Gwen's and Pasek's hemispheres broke out. I preserved the information before that conflict destroyed it again.
You guys, what do you think it means when
Cuckoo.
Gwen and Pasek's hemispheres broke out? Like, is this some sort of like disassociation thing? We're like,
Hello, my baby.
I
Hello,
just
my
said,
darling. Hello, my ragtime girl.
what is happening there?
Mental breakdown.
Well, I mean, what happens is those broke out, and then all of a sudden you've got Terry and me who created a show.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. So she goes on to say, speaking of these hemispheres, in case you guys were wondering, she goes on to say, Pasek's, oh geez, I don't know why I gave myself these notes. Pasek's right hemisphere had been mostly dead, almost an undead type's ontology corpse. Was female. Gwen and Pasek were both LMRF log. I don't know what the fuck that means. I was DF and DG. Oh, maybe the DG stands for double good.
Yep.
Maybe DF stands for double fuckwad.
Okay, I was saying
It's
dead
double fuckwad.
I was saying dead fuck.
Right. Pasek's
Dead girl.
RH. Pasek's RH, which I figured was right hemisphere,
Hemisphere.
was suicidal over pains of being trans, amplified by pains of being single female in a bi-gender head. Amplified, but lots of amplification over here, amplified by their left hemisphere's unhealthy attitude, which had been victorious in the culture we generated. They downplay the suicidality a lot. I said the thing was a failed effort. We had our answer to the startup hypotheses. The project as planned didn't work. Pasek disappeared, presumed to have committed suicide.
You know, she sounds a lot like a patient that House would meet.
This is what I'm thinking. I think they're trying to pretend to be fucking psychologists or some bullshit like that. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I do believe that they've created more harm than good in themselves. Like, are they trying to dissociate, bring on multiple personalities? Like, what are you even?
They need to get help.
Yes. Like, this
They need
is
some help. They are harming themselves. They are, instead of self-medicating, they are self-shrinking themselves.
yeah, to a point that, I mean, it
They
doesn't
just need
end
to
well.
go eat a good burger.
And like, who the fuck does this think she is to like, oh, I can help people with all of these things. On what grounds is?
Yeah.
On what grounds?
Jedi.
You're right. I'm so sorry. I forgot what reality we were fucking living in over here.
A Jedi and a broke bitch mountain walk into a bar.
She goes on to finish with, this has been an extremely inadequate conveyance of how fucked up hemisphere conflict is, how debucking spurs it, and needless to say, this unfinished post cuts far short of why and how. Oh, you're not going to let us know any of this.
Delete it.
Cool.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't rational to post it then.
Maybe.
Ooh, now the next part's my favorite. You remember, Terry, when I told you the
I
first
do.
episode
I'm
about the box
excited.
trucks?
I'm excited.
Those box trucks. Here we are.
So, guys, get ready because Gwen develops a plan to convert box trucks to living quarters.
If I must say this about Gwen, I understand that we're laughing a lot of our ideas, and they are outlandish.
But some of them aren't bad.
They're not bad. And you know what? Unlike Ziz, she's constantly coming up with ideas and plans of how to do things better. They're not the greatest. They don't work out well, but you know what?
She's trying.
She is trying.
But,
and Ziz is just riding fucking along, has contributed fucking nothing.
To be fair, some of these ideas didn't work because Ziz was involved. Some of them could have worked with reasonable people at the helm. You know what I mean? Like,
there's that too.
I'm just saying, Gwen has a lot of ideas. I know we make fun of her a lot of her ideas, but you know what? That's fine. She put them out there. She tried them out. Good for her. Was doing it. Good for her.
Yeah. Wow. On July 11th, 2020, Gwen posted a new plan for off-grid living in vehicles on her blog titled Slack Mobiles. I'm sorry, I like that name.
I will just say real quick that they're living in these pre-2020. This is just when she wrote this all up. So.
Yeah, okay. So she credits Ziz with about half of the design work. Before we really get into it, we should probably discuss what Slack means in this context, because Slack is not the platform you use at work to do messages, okay? So she defines it as the ability of a system or person to absorb chaos or unexpected setbacks. Often appears like luck or having your shit together with sparkles. I added the
living in a sponge.
Oh goodness.
As for why living in a truck or van will help you get your shit together, she began by writing, if what you care about doing with your life is solving a large problem with the world, then gaining the ability to work towards your goals without constraints is convergently valuable, a convergent goal. I see three main clusters of reasons to work towards this. By the way, written way better. Like way better. So, reasons. Reason 1, time and money. Job takes up too much time. If you don't have to pay rent, you don't have to work as much.
True.
I can follow that math.
I can follow that.
Reason 2, insulation from civilizational decay and collapse. The more dependent you are on civilization, the more your work is at risk if civilization collapses. By the way, not entirely wrong. It was 2020. Tossing that out there.
I just want to say real quick. I just noticed that Cap'n made the background for Gwen's thing dragons. I just wanted
She
to,
sure
I just
did.
wanted to let her know that did not escape.
I just saw that.
Me too.
Captain's good.
She's so good. I love her.
We
Anyway,
should give her a
Oh, the
raise.
subtlety. 100% raise. We can do that, right? We can afford.
we'll do
100%
some mental
raise.
upgrades. It's fine.
I was going to say, I can
Yes.
do a mental raise for you.
How's your mana,
I'll walk-
Here we go.
All right.
Mm.
Reason 3. Autonomy and freedom. The autonomy to do what you want to do and do it the way that you want to do it is important for any would-be world optimizer. And this includes the freedom to tinker with basic building blocks and structure of your life.
Captain gets her own room on the tugboat. That's right. Are we-
Captain has earned her sailing robes.
Her ceremonious Sith robes. So Gwen's post continued with a DIY on how to build out a vehicle for livability, with the project ranging from $5,000 to $30,000, depending on how fancy you want to get. I do want to put that she wrote this in 2020, so those prices have probably went up with this crazy inflation that we're going with. So it's probably a little bit more expensive for her, but
Well,
you know what? She did
I'm
the
going to
math.
just say, it's me. I need the bougie one. So where's bougie?
Oh, you're
Me
probably
too,
looking
girl.
at about 75 grand now.
Me
I
too,
need
girl.
bougie.
I ain't living in one of these Slackmobiles. I got news for you. Okay. She does good, but no. So she advised readers to start with a used box truck. So 1, get a box truck. And she offered practical advice like how much money to save for an expected transmission repairs. Very useful and resourceful she is. Her focus was on blending into the scenery. All right. So no RVs or campers. You're looking for an unmarked commercial vehicle with the aim of avoiding the attention of the police or security guards.
Okay.
Right. Maybe that's getting out of having to pay for places. I
don't know. So you can run quickly. I don't know.
I guess.
Hiding
She
in
just-
plain sight.
Right. She discussed using solar energy, battery backups, and listed all the basic needs for comfort. I'm a little bit more, I have higher needs for comfort than what she gives, just by the way. I will not poo in a bucket.
So you
Well, you're
obviously
not
don't sleep in
good.
tents either, right?
No.
Even I sleep in
No.
a tent, girl.
Why does
No.
the back door look like the TARDIS?
It is not bigger on the inside, spoiler alert. So she just we did that. So honestly, the weirdest thing about this list is that she has a washer and dryer as essential. I don't think that's weird. I agree. Essential. What are we supposed to do? Rinse them in a river like peasants? We're in a
I know.
box truck. We are
Okay.
classy.
Oregon Trail that bitch.
I was going to say, or put them in your toilet and flush it and wash them in there.
That's
Nope.
how we all get dysentery.
No
She's
toilet.
probably onto something. So what's interesting though is that she says a washer and dryer is essential, but any sort of roadside emergency supplies are optional.
Or optional.
Like what? Okay. She basically advocated for a hashtag van life as an act of self-sufficiency and social rebellion. Which, I mean, if you want to live in a box truck, then if you're good with that, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not doing that.
That
What are you pointing?
1, 2, 3 bullets down. The last sentence is all
1, 2,
you need
3.
to know. It's all you need to know.
Oh, once Starlink is up, probably I will switch to that. Ooh, I don't think you will. Now that we're in 2020, are you, Gwen? I don't think
I'm like,
that.
Gwen, I think
Did
this
not
would
age like milk, you guys, is what that
Yeah.
one did. But that's okay. She can't predict everything.
All over T-plane.
She has mind control powers, but she cannot predict the future, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. In a van down by the river.
Now, if you're wondering where to park your Slackmobile, she had tips for that too. Okay. She shared how to tow a truck, how to receive mail, the best chance for getting insurance, and how to get registration.
I mean, that's fucking way more informational than anything Ziz has given us.
As they say, Gwen,
like anything.
Gwen's got a little bit more upstairs working for her.
She does.
So getting your vehicle registered as an RV has different requirements per state. You generally have to show the government that you added a set of features like a sink, toilet, etc. However, you can just skip that by registering as an RV via mail with Vermont and then immediately transferring the registration back to whatever state you prefer, or you can just keep it in Vermont. I mean, and guys, you will remember from episode 1, this is not the last time Vermont comes up in this story.
No.
Okay?
We're going to hear about it a couple more times.
We're going to hear a little bit more about, yeah. So Gwen continued with a long list of more specialized options for your Slackmobile, ranging from AC to cryo freezer for your yeast, algae, and bacteria keeping needs.
Or ferrets.
Well, now we know where COVID came from.
Okay. Okay. On that list is also a lifetime supply of hormones for those who take them, with some thoughts on how to DIY those too.
Don't take her advice on that, guys. Don't do that. It's weird.
I'm just going to say, I really do not want to walk into anyone's Slackmobile and open their cryo freezer and see their yeast. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
Here, like,
yeah.
I think they're confused because, like, their version of DIY hormones is literally just a burned disc of porn stars, like, climaxing. It's weird.
I don't like the fact that they're like, yeah, let's make our own. Like, I would never trust it. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it. I get that people feel like they need something to get through it. Like, I do get it. But, like, let's be a little safe about it. Okay?
I mean,
let's be safe about it. I don't think algae and yeast are the answers for this. Okay?
No. I mean, if you need to go do an organism like that, just let some cheese mold in the refrigerator, okay? And then you can turn that into penicillin. That's about as far as I'm willing to go with that one. And why do you need to get a lifetime supply of hormones? Can't you just have your prescription transferred to whatever Walgreens or CVS you're near?
Well, I think it's for people who don't have, like, money to pay for them, because at one time she talks about getting her hormones off of Alibaba.
Oh yeah, you can order them from there.
Yeah, that's not a great idea.
She could just drive over to Mexico and get them for $1 a box.
And then she talks about making them herself, which is both these are just I do not recommend anyone doing this. Okay,
just go into menopause. Just go be a biatch. Don't get those made up hormones.
It's not, you just don't know what you're getting. It's just not
so safe. We have a picture of her minibus, right?
We do.
Yeah, so she shared photos of the interior of her own converted minibus. And I'm comfy. I'm good there.
I'm good there.
And an incredibly detailed spreadsheet of everything in her space, how much it cost and where she obtained it. Now, it's often Amazon because, you know, it's all about the ethics. She wrote in closing, here is a spreadsheet of everything in my bus, how much it costs and where I bought it. This includes things like clothes, laptop, vitamins, tools, etc. The total cost I've documented is around $9,000 plus insurance and gas, about $2,200 in my first year. Though there are some things I don't have documented, including expenses getting my license. So on
the spreadsheet she puts D&D dice. Essential. I'm not judging you, Gwen. I think that's amazing. I just love that you included it. That's freaking fantastic. Love it.
Luckily, I now know what D&D is. You know, because a couple of months ago I didn't. So
I know.
Sorry, go ahead with what you were saying, JC.
No, I love the fact that she got a locker off of Craigslist and a microwave off of Craigslist.
Yeah.
Put a little 20D in there.
Oh, I love
You don't
that.
buy dice off of Amazon. All right. So not only has Gwen shifted her focus from living on a boat to living in a bus, she's provided a fairly thorough blueprint for how to tackle the project and what to consider and avoid. She's getting people up to speed ASAP so they can start saving the world. It's like assembling the Avengers in the back of a U-Haul behind a Dollar General. And unfortunately, Ziz in this case is Nick Fury, but with more
Mm.
polycule drama and less strategic foresight, just standing there in a long coat she definitely can't afford, recruiting people who once Googled AI ethics and calling it a resistance. I don't.
Oh my God.
Oh boy, sweet Gwen. You know, I kind of wondering now, like, did Ziz write this entire blog just using a D20? Like, I kind of wonder if like that's why none of this makes any sense.
That would make sense, though. That would make it actually make sense.
Oh, you know what? I love Gwen for her idea for Slackmobiles. You know, innovative. She's trying. Her whole goal was to solve the rent problem. And here she is on her second idea. The boat one didn't work out, as we're literally about to find out how much of a shit show that ends up being. But, you know, she did her research and she did her math and she tried. So good for you, Gwen.
Do you want me
Good
to
for you.
scare you all right now?
Why?
So Double H and I's goal when we retire in 5 years and we sell our house, we're getting an RV and we're going to
Okay.
live in the RV.
I mean, RVs are
No.
nice.
Only thing I've told him is that we have to stay at a hotel at least once a month so I can take a full bubble bath.
That's fair. I mean, RVs are really nice these days. I would stay in an
But I
RV,
might
but
need
I'm
to
not staying in a box
download
truck.
her document to see what essentials I need because I would have never
Well-
thought that I needed a D&D dice.
I mean, she lived it for a while. So, because I mean, when did she write this again? She wrote this blog in 2020. So when she writes this, they are living in box trucks for at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
I mean, I will say it's going to be much bigger than a box truck because I am high maintenance.
Can I just point out that there is something that says cassette toilet, which is fine. I'm sure that's something real. But then it says cassette toilet that I use as a sink.
Yeah.
And then if you go over 2 columns, never yet used as toilet, in case you were wondering.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that. Is it one of those toilets that doesn't flush? It grinds.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
know
what that means.
I have to look.
Some tiny homes and some yurts have them. So there's a toilet. The liquid stuff goes out, but then the hard stuff goes into a grinder and it puts it in a pouch, kind of like on the mission to Mars with that guy who made potatoes to live.
Oh, the Martian.
No, it's just a
Martian.
small toilet.
Okay.
It's a
So
small
I'm wondering,
toilet
is
that
it
you find in like an RV.
I mean,
Okay.
RVs are way nicer than this box truck. So that'll be good. But let's continue on. So let's finish up this tale about the rat fleet because we are winding down, folks. I know it's been a long one, but I promise we are winding down here. So we'll finish up the tale of this rat fleet, the Caleb, and where it is today in 2025. All right, because remember, they lived on this in like to 2019 or some shit like that. So in 2019, the Pillar Point Harbor employees started noticing the Caleb's crew spending more time in Gwen's Slackmobile box trucks they had parked in the harbor lot. Security guards and employees had regular contact with the group, routinely asking them to move their vehicles and turn down the volume when they would play sci-fi movies on full blast. The crew would usually comply for a bit, but then later would carry on as usual.
Those
You know,
are nice.
Here's this next paragraph you're about to read
Mm-hmm.
is one of my favorites ever.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that, okay, I'll go. So those who interacted with Gwen, Ziz, and friends during this time said they regarded the group with a mix of amusement and caution, in part because of their bizarre quirks. For example, they would enter and exit the box trucks by rolling under them and then accessing a hole cut in the floor so as not to disturb the doors, which were padlocked. So
What?
That's my
yes,
favorite.
yes,
That is my favorite because I just see
Rock and
them
roll.
constantly muttering to themselves the 007 theme.
This is like Sith cloak.
Probably thinking it's so fucking cool that they can do that.
I would fall in the hole in the middle of the night when I got up to walk somewhere. I would just drop through the floor.
Yeah, that's what they did to get into their home. Was, I mean, is this really worth not paying that much in rent at this point? I mean, not San Francisco rent. Don't get me wrong. I don't judge them for not wanting to pay fucking San Francisco rent. It is outrageous. But like, you can move to Ohio and not have to live in a freaking box truck. Like, what?
Ohio has snow and cold.
But like living in Ohio is like living in a box truck. I like
JT, how dare you?
Dare you? You are
I grew
a
my
product
entire
of
family's
Ohio.
up
How
there.
dare you?
Oh,
You could listen. You could have lived in Michigan or in Wisconsin, and I would have said the same thing at the same time. Just
JT,
I
because
would never.
just do
could've been
not
said.
say that when we're doing our live show in Ohio in
Yeah, that's
July,
true. They
please.
my
will-
birth
they
certificate's
will-
from Youngstown, Ohio, I'll be all
It
right.
will run you out of the state.
Yeah, JT, just don't, honey. Just look cute.
We don't say the M word in Ohio. Well, I don't really give a shit about that because I don't care about football. But most people do not say the M word.
What is the M word?
The state above us, that Amy.
Michigan?
Mhm.
Why can't you say Michigan?
Well, because it's like, okay, so side note here, sidebar, guys. So Michigan and Ohio, our sports teams, have a huge rivalry between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. But actually, that rivalry spans back in time to the Toledo War between Ohio and Michigan, where, by the way, was the most ridiculous. War is an over exaggeration of what happened. They fought over the city of Toledo. Ohio really lost out because we're like, listen, nobody died, by the way. I'm pretty sure like it wasn't even a war. I don't know why it's called that, but out of the deal, Ohio was like, let us keep Toledo because Toledo is right on Lake Erie, which during the industrial age was like a big deal. Yeah. So we're like, we want Ohio. How about this? You guys can have the Upper Peninsula, like what's attached to Wisconsin up there. You guys can just have that, but we're going to keep Toledo. War over. Michigan, in my opinion, really lucked out on that deal because Toledo fucking sucks.
Well, but they're also Wolverines and not Black-Eyed Pea things for their sports team.
We are Buckeyes are not black-eyed peas. We are poisonous nuts.
Yeah.
They're
That's
Black-Eyed Peas.
definitely true. You are like one step off of like buying a fleet of ships. So Toledo War, this is the funniest part about this. I just looked this up. It is funny that nobody died, but what is even funnier is that one person was wounded.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck happened to that person, but I want to know their story, and I want to know what squirrel attacked them.
It had to do with poisonous nuts.
Like,
It had
if you guys
something to do
are
with poisonous nuts.
If you guys are not familiar with the Toledo War, like,
I don't know.
look it up because it's fucking hilarious.
Okay. We
Our
will
next
have to do
episode
that.
of True Crime and Wine Time Live will be on the Toledo War.
And how Ohio doesn't know how to draw maps. Don't even get me started. Anyway, we won't go into all of that, okay? Because I'm like a really big like.
Come on,
history-
Black-Eyed Pea girl, move
history
on.
nerd. Anyway, so they're rolling under their box trucks to get in there. Back to the story here. And an employee is quoted as saying, quote, they always seem to be putting out this vibe like, don't fuck with us. And amongst themselves, the employees also began referring to the robe-wearing Ziz as Jedi Jack. Look at that. Look at JT. It's Palpatine.
Oh my God.
So they referred to Ziz as Jedi Jack. They said Ziz, quote, would just be lurking around at night, probably like this, like he was on that boat. Walking the beach alone. Some of the deputies were like, quote, that was the creepiest freaking thing I ever saw. And before you go here, JT, I side note also want to say that I had to make this script a little bit shorter, or our story that we're going to tell tonight. I had to make shorter. I had to cut some things as this was talking about. And I do want to tell you the two things that I had to cut. One was about Ziz's encounter with a druid, a real life druid person who lived on the boats with them. Not with them, but like in the harbor. The second story I had to cut was when they were going to buy a boat from a neo-Nazi.
Oh, the neo-Nazi, yes.
Those were the only things I could find to cut that I'm like, well, these aren't really like important. A druid and a neo-Nazi did not make this show, you guys. That's the level of crazy we are dealing with. I just want to let you know that. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco, but it's wild.
But I'm going to just say, if that's the creepiest thing they saw in San Francisco, because the Haight-Ashbury districts there, they have No Pants Friday on the BART, where people ride the rapid transit with no pants on. And you see old men's dingly winglies and butt hairs.
Public transportation?
Yes, it's No Pants Fridays. It freaked me out when I was there. But yeah, so if that's the creepiest thing, you know it was weird.
It was weird.
Because that.
So.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Me.
Yeah. Put that back
Spike helmet time again.
The thought of it gets me when they said that they were always putting out a vibe like don't fuck with us, because them saying don't fuck with us is, well, it's real rich coming from a group of people who couldn't operate a dinghy without a group chat. Like lurking the beach at night like a Sith Lord on sabbatical isn't really mysterious. It's just kind of what happens when your ideology outpaces your social skills.
Fact.
Oh my goodness.
Now, guys, one of the group's boat's neighbors at the harbor was Curtis Lind, who had docked his 117-foot boat. Guys, that's a big ass boat. The Robert Gray. That's what I call a yacht.
This big.
Yeah, that's a big ass boat.
Look how big that is.
Yeah. His was the largest vessel in the bay, and the Caleb was the second. Lind and the group met due to the Caleb's anchor dragging. They needed a new anchor, and the Lind was kind and sold them some. Now, over time, Lynn learned that many in the group were transgender. I got to be pretty friendly with them, friendly enough that I took one of them to Walmart to buy her first bra, Lynn recalled. I mean, that's a special friendship.
Curtis seems lovely and supportive, like a bra.
And for those of you who may be watching for the first time, in episode 1, unfortunately, we find out the fate of Curtis Lind. So we will be discussing Curtis Lind and more, not next episode, but the episode after that.
The fact that you said the fate of just tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, with this group, not with this group, you don't know what the fate could be with them.
It's wild.
He could
I will be very. I will warn you.
Control him to where he's a monkey.
I will warn you now, you guys. If you thought I've been snarky with Ziza's blog post, I will be snarky AF for the Curtis Lind episode because it fires me up. It fires me up because I mean, this 80-year-old man. Look at him.
Yeah,
being a nice guy over here. But go ahead. Sorry, Terry.
It was early 2020. Right before the pandemic hit. In case anyone's forgotten, there was this thing called COVID. Just in case anybody forgot, I know it's been a while. So that Lynn decided to retire. So he sold his boat and moved it into a trailer yard he owned in Vallejo, California, where he planned to open a lot to renters of trailers and other makeshift homes. Okay. He allowed the group to move their slackmobiles out of Pillar Point Harbor and onto his land. The Caleb was left abandoned, except for the rats. So in April 2021, Ziz sold her share of the Caleb to Gwen for $1. Uno.
And look how
Leaving-
convenient. This is about to be so convenient for Ziz that she did
Uh-huh.
this, by the way.
Leaving Gwen with owning 2/3 share of the boat and 1/3 to Powell. Just days later, the San Mateo County authorities determined the towboat was no longer seaworthy and ordered the owners to remove it. But no owner responded, and its anchor continued to drag. Then in early 2022, winter storms tossed the boat around the harbor, endangering other vessels, and no one responded to radio calls on the Caleb.
So, on the night of March 12th, 2022, Gwen and her crew moved the Caleb to the harbor's work dock, but the staff explained that the boat was too large to be moved there. Gwen and the others got into a vehicle and, well, they drove off. They've never been seen at or near the Caleb since. The Harbor District wound up paying a marine salvage company to remove hazardous materials from the boat and anchor it away from the dock. And I think we have a little video. Do we have a video here?
That is like in real time, like literally a month ago, somebody went out there to that boat and took that. That is, and look at these morally righteous vegans leaving all this shit to destroy the environment.
Yep.
And
there are solar panels on the top.
Okay.
There are solar panels on the top.
Still. Ugh.
That's gross.
They are pond scum.
So, as of today, well, there you go. The Caleb rests near the community of Princeton by the Sea and the cliffs of Mavericks Beach. The Harbor District General Manager, Kim Pruitt, said that the price tag for removing the ship would be about $2 million, which is asking a lot for an agency with an annual budget of $13 million. So Pruitt has been applying for grants to shoulder the cost. Quote, that's the problem with these types of boats. They get sold for a couple of bucks, and then these people come down and abandon it, and now it's somebody else's problem.
Now, just because I'm that weird person, couldn't they sink it to the bottom? Maybe the bay is not deep enough, and then let it be a place for people to go dive and do ship dives around it, like I've done in Hawaii.
They'd have to clean it way more than just paying somebody to remove. There has to be a lot of prep that's done.
Makes sense.
Before
that's why they don't have me working for them.
I mean, it just really this is their first big idea. And this is the end result of their first plan to save the world.
Yeah.
Is something that is going to cost everyone else but them a bunch of money. Everybody else is gonna clean up this fucking mess.
Yep.
And you know what? I feel like Ziz selling that to Gwen for $1 because you guys, Gwen is on the hook for this, millions of dollars.
She somehow got a heads up,
or she called,
or she could something,
something.
In my opinion, I don't know I have no idea how this panned out, but I feel like what.
There's a patent pending album that they titled Save Yourselves, the Whales Are Doing Fine. And I think that this is the case. They need to just learn to save themselves. The world's, it's a shitty, fucked up place, but it's fine. Take care of you. You know, you do you, boo-boo. Leave the rest of it to the rest of everybody else.
It's crazy. The tale of the Rationalist fleet. This is the end result of the rat fleet. It did not go well. But now they're all on box trucks living on Lynn's property. So we're going to see how that plays out later. So I'd like to finish up tonight's story because we are finishing up here, folks. I know it's been a long night and I apologize for how long it is. But as you can see, there was a lot to talk about tonight. So I'd like to finish up tonight's story talking about Jane Fluttershy and Maya Pasek. So, as referenced earlier, Maya Pasek is thought to have died by suicide in 2018. Just months earlier, they posted on Facebook that, quote, life is good from their idyllic retreat in Gran Canaria, Spain. 3 months later, they wrote the blog post Ziz mentioned, Decision Theory and Suicide, which is now believed to have been their suicide note. In December of 2020, Jane wrote her own blog post titled Containment Causes Suicidality, partially as a response to Ziz's Pasek's Doom blog post, which was about Pasek's suicide. She last replied to a comment on that post late January 2021. We know that she died by suicide March 10th, 2021. As a friend on the Less Wrong Rationalist page wrote, quote, even in Fluttershy's darkest moments, they thought about helping the least among us. No one was willing and able to help Fluttershy become the hero they wanted to be. I have many, many regrets for my time in California, but chief among them is not making a heroic effort to put Fluttershy on a better path. End quote. You know, both Maya and Fluttershy were friends with Ziz and Gwen, and both participated in this experimental mind control techniques that they had going on. What's interesting, because Ziz is always Ziz. Ziz made sure to comment on her own blog that their sleep experiments were not to blame for Pasek's doom, but before retroactively declaring Pasek to be non-good. Which all I have to say to Ziz is fuck you. Fuck you, Ziz. Fuck you. So now I know we've been very silly tonight, which is always great. But I want to be serious for just a moment, okay? I know it's a really heavy topic for people, but just give me a moment of your time. No, I don't think Gwen and Ziz had anything to do with Maya or Fluttershy's suicides. I mean, suicide is a very complex issue, okay? And sadly, the suicide rates within the transgender community are astronomical. And listen, I'll be honest, I've suffered from ideation in the past, and it's some seriously scary shit. And it is extremely difficult to have any hope or see the light when you're deep in it. Mm-hmm. And if there is anyone here watching or listening to this who is feeling those things, I want you to know that there is hope, and you are not alone. Okay? I don't regret sticking around. As a matter of fact, things took a better turn in my life once I was able to get help and began understanding why this was happening to me. You know, it wasn't just because I was this flawed person that wasn't like everybody else. Like there was stuff I had going on. And, you know, in the past, after I found out about that, I spent time as a facilitator for NAMI, which is the National Association of Mental Health. I helped run a mental health support group for people just like me. And I can't recommend going to those meetings enough. Suicide outreach is a really big passion of mine because I'm not the only person in this world who has experienced that. And if I'm going to do anything in my time here, it's hopefully to help somebody else. You know, but if peer support isn't an option in your area, then here is a list of numbers you can call right here. One for everyone. Okay. Some you can call, some you can text, some you can communicate with online. All right. There are options for everyone. All right. So we have the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 988. That's all you got to call. It does English and Spanish. The Crisis Text Line, text START to 741-741. The Trevor Project, which is a very big deal for those in the LGBTQ community. All right. This is for people ages 13 to 24. The number is 866-488-7386. All right, the LGBT National Hotline, 888-843-4564. And the Trans Lifeline, 877-565-8860. Okay? I just want to say rest in peace to Maya and Fluttershy. And from everything I've seen, reading about these two people, you are incredibly missed. And anyone else who feels that way, you will be missed too. Okay? So reach out because people do care. I promise. I promise. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, as a person who has also been down in that place in life, I can tell you getting help is the answer. It helps. And like Tara, my life took a much better turn. And I'm very happy that I had people around me who encouraged me that I didn't have to be ashamed to get help. So that's
Agreed.
all I want to add to that. It's not anything to be ashamed of. So that's going to bring us to updating our update for the cast tonight. So sadly, we now have Maya Pasick and Fluttershy J. Winterford in black and white. Both are really the first casualties in this story. And unfortunately, we will learn in the episodes ahead they will not be the last. And my closing thoughts about this episode, Ziz needs so much fucking help.
Mm.
I want to tell her, get the help, please, because you've already done a lot of damage to people, but you're really hurting yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get some help because this episode just makes your head spin. I know we laughed, we joked a lot, but there is some serious shit wrong going on with these people, and people are getting hurt.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first read about this whole rat fleet, I assumed it was going to involve spreadsheets, canned lentils, and an overwhelming sense of superiority. And I was right. Only I underestimated how much of that superiority would be housed inside of box trucks held together with emotional manipulation and expired ambition. It's less rationalist utopia and more theater kids who got lost at sea and decided to solve housing by reinventing water. And the whole time Ziz is like, I have mind control powers, which, okay.
Okay,
No,
girl.
you don't.
You go, girl.
If you did, the first thing you'd control is your blog formatting. And also maybe not letting a World War II tugboat full of diesel become your lasting legacy.
Mm.
Like imagine if the Zodiac killer also had a Tumblr and was really into ponies, but couldn't get a job at Google because he ghosted the onboarding email. That's this story.
Pretty
These
much.
people said, let's optimize reality, and then duct taped a spreadsheet to a yacht and set it on fire. They wanted to hack life, beat death, and free the world from capitalism, but somehow ended up playing Settlers of Catan on a sinking boat in a cult made of Google Docs. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you want to save the world, maybe start with therapy before you turn a box truck into your bat cave and declare war on rent with your chakras and soldering iron. Because the only thing worse than Moloch is Moloch with a blog.
Oof, boy, do we have a Moloch with a blog. I mean,
Yeah.
So my closing thought is, I'll be honest. I was unsure if we should dedicate 2 whole episodes to reading and dissecting some of Ziz's batshit blog. I was like, I don't know if we should. I don't know, but I want to. But, it's not often that we get these sort of insights into people like her in these sorts of stories. And really, I think we've learned a lot from her.
Mm-hmm.
1, living on boats, not a good idea. Not a good idea. 2, I've now been thinking of whether or not my other Ken llama self will survive the singularity. Been keeping me up at night. And 3, I've been constantly working on my eye-gazing mind control with elbow feeds.
Elbow
seems to be
feet,
working.
Goes by elbow.
I'm just saying there are no.
Elbow feet, blink twice if you need help.
I'm just saying it is not a table leg that's been between us. If you catch my drift.
Oh,
Just kidding. Um, no, I mean there are some real life lessons in here. I guess I don't know. But unlike, what's wild to me, all right, we've read one blog post, but clearly multiple people have read her post and were like, you know what? That makes sense to me. I need to know more.
Yeah.
that blows my freaking mind.
Yes.
And me too, because I don't understand how that happened. I don't. Unlike a lot of cult leaders, Ziz severely lacks charisma. I mean, for fuck's sake, even Charles Manson has more riz than Ziz.
You know what?
See what I
You
did
know
there?
what?
Riz
They
than Ziz.
expect me to deliver those lines. That's my... I quit. I'm out.
I did it. I channeled my inner JD for that one. I was like, "Ooh, that is genius, Tara. That's gonna nail it."
That is.
It was good.
So I don't think we will be reading much more from Ziz's blog for the rest of the series. I know, so sad. But like I said earlier, I will put out this offer. If after we get through telling this whole Zizian Cult story, you all want me and maybe some others, maybe JT, Terry, maybe we'll bring Cap'n on, maybe some other people. I don't know. But if you guys want to read more of her blog posts, because they are doozy, each one is just as good as that. Then leave a comment under this video and let me know that you wanted to do that, and I'll see what we can do. I know I'm fascinated by all of it. I don't know if you guys are, but we've spent literally like over 6 hours talking about one blog post, you guys. So there is more.
Blog. One.
What have I done with
But
my life?
So let's go on. For next week's episode, I am particularly excited about. Finally, we're getting into some actions, okay? We're going to finally get into the groups MIRI and CFAR. I don't know if it's Murray. I say Murray. I don't know if that's right. Whatever. I don't fucking care. Murray, CFAR.
Still doesn't.
The organizations that brought many of these people together. It is because of CFAR and Murray that they all met. And we are going to have to ask ourselves, are they themselves a cult? You're going to have to tune in to find out to what we think about that. That will lead us into, you guys, you thought the Rat Fleet was a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
Wait until next week when we learn about the protest that Ziz and friends do to Murray C. You guys, it's such a shit show. They really did not think things through. And this is the beginnings of the groups running with the law. Yeah, it gets wild, you guys. Like it's all down here from here, folks. Anyway, they really should have just stayed on their boats and stayed out of the way, is my conclusion to all of this. But they did not. So we have more episodes for all of you.
Yeah, I probably should start getting on that one. If you liked what you heard tonight, please hit the like button. Share this video to appease the YouTube gods. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And we're going to be back this Thursday at 9, where we will be covering the case of Christy Evans. And it is fuck wild.
Oh, it's so crazy. It's so good, you guys.
Yep.
I never heard of it before. Never heard of it. Wow.
No. We'll be here next Sunday, too, March 30th at 9, to continue the tale of the Zizians.
Do you know what March 30th is?
No.
It's Jasper's 1-year birthday.
Oh my gosh, Jasper's birthday.
He will be one.
We're
going to have to do something special and talk about a buttload of fucked up people.
All right. With that, I want to say thank you to all of you being here for tonight. I know it was a long one. Thank you for being with us. If you're still watching, it's much appreciated. And until next time, go forth and be amazing. Finger hearts in the chat for me. Thank you.
And guys, stay safe. Stay away from Zizzy and all of her people, okay? Be aware. They're out there. And guys, enjoy your wine time because with this shit, we need more of it.
Oh, and I almost forgot Pickle Tits said thank you,
Oh,
everybody, for the
Bye,
wonderful,
Pickle Tits.
wonderful night. She needs therapy. He needs therapy now, but
He
he'll be
does.
fine.
Yeah, he looks a little rigid. He needs to. Fuck. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Please take care of yourselves, your friends, family, and community. Don't let anybody dull your sparkle. And shine on, you crazy diamonds. Shine on. And don't buy a boat. Bye, everybody.
Bye.